Well, well, well. It is time for Cowboys After Dark. And whether you catch this live or you catch this in the morning, let's go. Cowboys After Dark, whether it be 10 or 10,000, we're going to talk top Cowboys tonight. Let's go. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to go back to the topics from today. I didn't get a chance to finish. So, today, or should I say tonight, this morning, whatever time it is where you are. So we're going to continue on with the Brian Schottenheimer interview. And then we're going to listen, or I'm going to read to you some of the OTA news. And I'm going to see if we can tie some of this to some of the stories that have been kind of released since we were on this afternoon. And then we're going to look at the post-June 1st news. I can't call it post-June 1st cuts or anything like that because there hadn't been a lot of news on that front yet. But I think there's a method to the Cowboys madness of why we have not signed DJ Reader, as some people were so excited for us to do. Don't you worry. I don't think the Cowboys are done, but I think there is a reason why there is no movement. All right, let's get this. Topics for the day again: Shotty interview, OTA news, post June 1st. So we got quite a bit to talk about this tonight. Let's go ahead and get our roll call in, and then we're gonna get into the show. Let's go. For all you late night folks, C-Base, what up with you? Dominique Pittman, he said, oh yeah, Cowboys After Dark, yeah, let's go. Renan, in the crib, what up with you? Marcus Rowe, man, good to see you here tonight. What's going on? Yeah, let's go. He said, we here for that work, let's get it. Jacob Jackson in the crib, what's going on with you? Yes, sir. Jared Thomas, number one Dak Prescott fan. I'm number two. What's going on with you? He said, yeah, Brian has made a difference. I see progress. I just want Shady McCoy. Oh, Shady McCoy will never be quiet. He has to talk about the Cowboys else he won't be relevant. Patrick D. Johnson Jr., what up with you? He said, what's good, G? You the GOAT. Finally got an off day to catch tonight's show. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Let's go. Marcus Rose said, Schottenheimer's a godsend. Yeah. He understands how important good coaching is in this league. They have to win. They on the right track. Yes, sir. I agree with you. Let's get it, man. Yep. Let's go. Let's get back to our first topic. Got some more people coming in. Y'all make sure y'all greet them as they come in. I'll greet them also. Let me pull up what I need to pull up here real quick. All right, let's get back to the Schottenheimer interview, boy. This thing was getting good today. Oh, you know what? Hey, it's Cowboys After Dark. Y'all mind if we add a little something? I haven't listened to it, so I don't know if I can do it all tonight. But oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do all this tonight. But Michael Irvin did a live tonight. Let me see if we can check some of it out. All right. But anyway, let's pull up this Shotty thing again. All right, let's go. All right. Again, welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And when you come into this stream, please hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you don't know, now you know. Yeah, we go live at midnight sometime. Yeah, we go live at midnight. Cowboys After Hours. Oh, we really gonna crank this up when the season starts. We're really gonna crank this up. But again, let's get into this first topic. Brian Schottenheimer. Let's go. Let me get a couple more greetings in, then we're going to start the video. All right. Let's see who we got in here. The Polk family, what are going on with you? Yes, sir. He said, glad to catch the cash tonight. Yeah, let's do this, man. Yeah, glad you're on. Michael Hanford, let's go. Yes, sir. Good to see you again. Patrick D. Johnson, he said, I like the way Jerry has backed off and let Shotty do work. I said it today. I absolutely love it too. Man, he gonna let Shotty do his thing. And Shotty better take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. When Jerry give you that opportunity, man, you run with it. Roland Brooks, what's going on with you? He said, I would just like to know what you think about Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. Thunder and lightning. Oh, man, thunder and lightning. I'm ready. I keep hearing all this Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. That's cool. No, I'm looking for the new era. Phil Maffa can be a bell cow back, similar to DeMarco Murray. Jaden Blue is, I don't even want to say he's Tony Pollard 2.0. I just think he got a skill set that Tony Pollard doesn't have. And one of those skill sets is speed, and you can't teach it. Nah, man, Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa, they're going to be crazy with it. I think by mid-season, boy, they're going to be crazy with it. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's check out Brian Schottenheimer and see what else he has to say today. I know some of you already heard this. Let's check it out. I see you, Daniel Lim is in the crib. What's going on? Good to see you in here tonight. All right, we're going to get this to play in a minute. All right, well, I'm getting no sound. Hold on. See his lips moving, but I don't see him talking. All right, but again, as I'm talking here, as I'm trying to set this up, yeah, Phil Maffa is going to be the truth. At least that's what I believe. Yeah, I believe Phil Maffa is going to be the absolute truth. Yeah, I believe he's going to be the absolute truth. All right, let's roll.
First round draft pick. Sometimes it's just I run down there and check on those guys a lot just to see how. Again,
we were out there last week. Sam Williams working off to the side. I mean, it looks like he's doing a lot. What's kind of the update with him? When do you expect him to maybe be able to work back in with the team?
Yeah, biceps look huge. His arms. No, he's doing great. And again, I think Britt Brown does an incredible job with all those guys. The guys are rehabbing, and he looks great. Again, no timetable, but again, you guys see him moving and the size and the speed and athleticism. I run down there and check on those guys a lot just to see how they're doing. He and Dono and all those guys, Demo, they're all doing great.
Nick Harris, former Sports Telegram.
Let me tell you something. Sam Williams, but let me tell you something. This team, where it's headed right now, Sam Williams better ball out. Sam Williams better absolutely ball out. Sam Williams is expendable. Sam Williams is expendable. Now, I do think the one thing he has going for him, and it may be something that may shock you, it's not necessarily his skill, his talent that he has going for him. What he has going for him is the Cowboys drafted him. And because the Cowboys drafted him, they're probably going to give him an opportunity. But I'll tell you this, he better ball out. He better ball out. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because I do believe Sam Williams is in danger of not being on this team. I do. I think he's in danger of not being on the team. Deggy Liv said he said my mind is still racing over the whole Stephen Jones thing. Yeah. Hey, we're going to talk about that when we get to post-June 1st. Daniel Lim, keep that thought. We're going to talk about that in post-June 1st because I think there is a reason why Stephen Jones said no front burner, no front burner stuff. I know exactly what he's saying. At least I think I do. And we'll talk about that when we get to post-June 1st. All right. Quentin Scott in the crib. What up with you? Good to see you tonight. Yeah. Let's go. It's going good. How things going with you, Quentin Scott? Daniel M. says, I still think that Shotty is saying all the right things, but I feel like it won't matter unless we see the product on the field. I think he's ready too. And I think the product isn't finished yet. It isn't. He's ready to get it on the field too. Because he needs to. Now, the advantage that he does have, Shotty's already been here for 2 years watching the team. So the only thing Shotty needs to do now is observe the team and then get his coach's feedback. What do they think? See if what he's thinking is matching up with what they're thinking. And so Shotty needs to see this stuff moving around on the field, so as pieces are available out there, he can start trying to get his influence in on getting some of those pieces moved in here. But we'll talk about it in a moment. There's a reason. Let's go.
I want to ask about a couple of guys we've seen had good days. Miles Sanders on Thursday and Kyer Elam over the last couple of weeks. Both of those new additions, what have you seen from those guys in their respective positions?
So I'll start with Kyer.
Yeah.
Obviously Florida Gator. First round draft pick. Sometimes it's just there's issues with fit. There's issues with different things, but the talent jumps off the film. We keep track of our players' speeds, each week to see who's hitting top speeds. And like I said, the one thing I'm most proud about is the way our guys run. Pre-snap, but more post-snap, the way they run and cover. And he's been consistently at the top of the skill guys on defense with his top speeds. I think he's really taken to the system, the coaching from DA and Andre. So I think he's in a really good spot. He's playing with a lot of confidence. But again, it's I guess we're June now. So yeah, we're June, but we're still in OTA football, and we're still limited with what we can do. And the defense does not have equal right to the football. That's the rule. And so therefore DBs have to pull off. But from a confidence standpoint, he's doing great. And Miles, I don't know why anybody would be surprised with Miles' ability. Having been in the division and played against Miles when he was in Philadelphia, you talk about a guy that's a home run threat. You talk about a guy that's got incredible, just ability to hurt you running, catching the ball out of the backfield, all that stuff. Very smart, very bright. All the backs have been that way. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention they're both the right type of guy. They both fit into what we're trying to build as a culture from a work ethic standpoint. They both bring veteran leadership, a little bit different. Miles a little older than Kyer, but Kyer's, father, played. So he understands the life of professional football. And so two very exciting guys that we've added to the roster, amongst many other.
And you kind of alluded to it already, but
I'm telling you, Kyer Elam. They want Kyer Elam to be, I'm just telling y'all, they want Kyer Elam to be a part of the solution. They want Kyer Elam to be a part of the solution. They really do. Yeah, they want him to be a part of the solution. Kyer Elam may save them from doing something that so they won't have to force themselves to do something. But Kyer Elam, they want him to be a part of the plan. And Kyer Elam, from everything that he keeps alluding to, Kyer Elam is balling out there. Now, of course, we know it's OTAs. But what you're still watching for is you're watching for explosiveness. You're watching for breaking on the ball. You're watching for backpedaling, footwork. You're looking for all this stuff. So you can see if maybe he is what you think he is. But, man, we got to get them pads on. But right now, I'm telling you, they're talking about Kyer Elam over and over and over and over. And, again, I love how Brian talks. Come on, man. You know why we asking about Miles Sanders. We don't even anticipate Miles Sanders making the team with what you have on there. We don't even we don't even think he's gonna make the team. And again, it's the beginning part of OTAs. Mandatory mini camp coming up next. Training camp is where we're going to start seeing where the rubber meets the road. Which one of these running backs will rise to the top? And I just don't see a world on the Cowboys team where there's going to be Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. I don't see that world, but it could be. It could be. Because I just think that Phil Maffa, because Jaden Blue's making the team. I just think Phil Maffa has got to rise to the top. And I want to see him rise to the top because I'm telling you, this dude, man, if this dude gets healthy, you want to talk about a crazy run game between him, Javonte Williams, and Jaden Blue, Cowboys going to be crazy. Morris Newton in the crib, Chicken Man. What's going on with you? It's that man, Jigga Man. Big pimpin', spin the cheese. Yes, sir. Let's go. Good to see you, Jigga Man. Oak Cliff Rockefeller, what's going on with you? Yes, sir. Let me see. My man Rockefeller, Oak Cliff Rockefeller. He said Shotty is playing fair and loving his players, trying to give them all a chance to be great and compete. It's refreshing to see. Yeah. Yep. I agree with you. That's one of the things that I believe that he is doing that is so important. And we're going to talk about that some more as we keep looking at this. But again, man, this is one of the important things that Brian Schottenheimer is doing. And I do think it's one of the reasons the Cowboys have not ran out yet as much as people would like for them to do. The Cowboys have not yet ran out and started making moves. I think one of the reasons why they have not made moves is that the Cowboys want to see what they have. I do. I think they want to see what they have. And then until they can see what they have, because again, you got to think about, you don't want to prematurely make moves while not giving your own players the opportunity to show you what they have. So you got to give them that opportunity. So I believe that's what they're doing. I do believe that's what they're doing, and I believe that's why they have not made a move. I think that's why they have not made a move. And so I think we'll probably see. I think we're going to get a little further into training camp before the Cowboys maybe panic or anything close to that. Before the Cowboys really make a move. All right, let's check this out.
How much stock do you put into good days on the field when you can't really do a whole lot out there?
It's more about learning, I mean, it really is. It's more about are the attention to the details with the scheme there? Are our splits right on offense? Is our communication right on defense? It's more of a, when you talk about identity, we want to be a team that plays smart. We want to be a team that doesn't beat ourselves, and we want to be a team that doesn't have a lot of penalties. So it's more of that. We get a lot out of the walkthroughs, because that's kind of the tempo you have to go to. And I'm very pleased with where we are from a scheme implementation, if you will, both on offense, defense, and special teams.
I see Quinn Scott.
We're through a lot, and we're in a review day today, which is good. What a review day should bring is really even better details, even better communication, even less errors. And I think that's the thing that we want to see from a day like today.
Joe.
Joe White, DLS Sports.
Yeah, you think about what Brian is doing. I think it's very genius what Brian is doing. I mean, he's really taking advantage of what he can take advantage of. And one of the problems the Cowboys did have last year, when you think about it, Cowboys had a lot of concentration problems. The Cowboys had a lot of dumb penalties. And so Brian is smart again. So work on that. Work on your concentration. Work the walkthroughs. Just getting so familiar with things that you know what your assignment is. There's no better time than now. That's why they got these guys going to the chalkboard and all the things that they're doing. You got to get these guys understanding. Dak Prescott was talking about this last year. I'm telling you, man, Brian, I said this last year. Dak Prescott was endorsing Mike McCarthy while at the same time indicting Mike McCarthy. He was endorsing him like, okay, we like him, father figure, like him, whatever you want to call those things. He's saying things. But then he would turn back around and say stuff like, what are people doing when they're not in the building? People are not where they're supposed to be. He's saying little things. And this is why I've been saying from the beginning, coaching matters. That's why I'm not listening to people talking about Dak Prescott has no more excuses. No more excuses. Coaching matters. I don't believe Troy Aikman. Let me tell you something. I don't think Troy Aikman becomes Troy Aikman without Jimmy Johnson. I don't. I don't think Troy Aikman is Troy Aikman without Jimmy Johnson. I don't think he goes on to win 3 Super Bowls without Jimmy Johnson. I don't. People got to understand how Troy was playing when he first started in this league. And Jimmy brought in North Turner. We got to fix this guy. And the way they fixed that guy, they got him some weapons. They got him a line. They got him a defense. And one of the weapons that they got him with that offensive line is they got him a running back. Just a man by the name of Emmitt Smith. Nobody major. Yeah, nobody major. People do not understand. If the Eagles haven't showed you this year, just go back and look at the 90s Cowboys. Your quarterback, as people don't realize, Patrick Mahomes, that's a generational quarterback. We don't have to say that Dak Prescott isn't Patrick Mahomes. Who is? Who is? Who is Patrick Mahomes? Him. Yeah, him. There are not many that can do what Patrick Mahomes has done. But you want to understand, coaching matters. I watched Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. There's a reason why he didn't win the Heisman Trophy. There's a reason why he didn't win a national championship. There's a reason why teams were basically passing over Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid goes, these dudes crazy. Trade it up to get him. If people knew now, if people would have knew then what they know now, Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 overall quarterback in the draft. But I got news for you. Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes unless he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, who already got an AFC championship level team. And I dare say that Alex Smith was on the verge of finally getting over the hump. It wasn't his fault they gave up a huge lead. It wasn't his fault they gave up a huge lead to the Indianapolis. Who was it? Who was the team? I can't remember the team because I think it was Alex Smith had went to the Chiefs. And I think it was the Colts. They gave up a huge lead. The defense was atrocious. That wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. He did what he was supposed to do. Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes either, unless he sits up under Alex Smith for a year. Patrick Mahomes gave Alex Smith a lot of credit. Told him a lot of things. But you better understand something. Coaching matters. Patrick Mahomes was a wild, don't get me wrong, he was already talented. But he was a talented, unwieldy, wild gunslinger. That's what he was. Go back and watch the Texas Tech tape. It was like he was out there playing backyard football. Guy with the Chiefs. Coaching matters. Got him someone who, okay, you got the skill set I've been looking for. Let me sit down for a year. Let you sit down a year behind Alex Smith. Another very good. Alex Smith was so underrated. Very good quarterback. Let me let you learn under him. Teach you the ropes so you can get used to the plays, all this stuff. But all I'm saying is coaching matters. And I'm going to show you this at the end. I got some diagrams. Coaching matters. And for all those people, Dak has no more excuses. Excuses? How about the truth? Coaching matters. This is going to be the best coaching staff that Dak Prescott has ever played under in the pros. This is it. And it may be the best he's ever going to see in his career because he's probably somewhere near the end. All we need is for Shotty to get this thing on the field. Shotty has done the mental stuff. Now we got to put it into action. We have to get it on the field. And that's why I like Brian Schottenheimer. He's doing what he can do right now. And that's why I think the Cowboys, I think they're smart, including Jerry and Steven. I think they're smart. I think what they're doing is, okay, the moves that we've made so far, those were Captain Obvious moves. Those were Captain Obvious moves. And it's actually funny to me, it's actually funny to me because it's like the more the Cowboys do, the more people want them to do. They never satisfied. Do more, do more, do more. I'm not mad. Don't stop till you get enough. But as I said before, there is going to be a point to where we're going to have to stop, and what we have is what we have until the trade deadline. And then, to me, that's going to really show us something. If the Cowboys start trying to make moves during that trade deadline time. Yeah, Oak Cliff Rockefeller, he says, see who acts a fool during 5 weeks in the streets during the off period. He said, I don't believe Steven not watching NFL talent pool. You better believe he is. But I'm going to tell you what he's doing. And I think once we start thinking about it, I think we're going to really understand what he's doing. What he's doing. It makes sense. Marcus Rowe, he said, gee, Andy Reid is a hell of a coach. Yeah. Coaching matters. He has groomed Patrick Mahomes' decision-making along with the defense improving. Yep. Patrick Mahomes that we know right now is not Patrick Mahomes without Andy Reid and Alex Smith. Coaching matters. Unlike Joe Flacco, who said he's not a mentor, Alex Smith embraced being a mentor. Alex Smith knew full well the Kansas City Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes to take his spot. And rather than him act all arrogant about it and try to, I'm here to compete and blah, blah. I've told us before. And Schottenheimer, I think, alludes to this in this interview. Putting together a competitive atmosphere does not mean you have to be competing against each other as in you're fighting for position. That isn't what that means. That isn't what that means. A competitive atmosphere is everybody competing. That's what that is. Because you're not always competing with people. You're competing with yourself. There are just players on your team. You just got to accept it for what it is. There are players on your team where there is no competition because they're that player. Yeah, they're that player. There is no competition. Yeah, I'm out here competing, but not for a position because I already have a position. Not to keep a position because there's no danger of me losing my position. My competition is against myself. I'm trying to go to another level. Because people keep saying how good I am. That ain't good enough for me. I want to be great. One of the things, the reason why Michael Jordan is my all-time favorite athlete, because Michael Jordan, unlike these guys today, Michael Jordan, they say he couldn't shoot free throws good enough. He went in the offseason, worked on free throws. They said he couldn't dribble with his left hand. He came back ambidextrous. They said he couldn't play defense. He only came back and became Defensive Player of the Year. They said he couldn't do nothing but dunk the ball. He developed a fall-away jumper that nobody could stop. And if you would have kept playing with him and he came into this era, Michael Jordan would have been one of the best three-point players in the game, but I don't know if he would have did it as much because Michael Jordan said something about the three-point play. He said the three-point play takes away from who I am. It would make me not work on those other skills that I'm so skilled at. But I'm saying Michael Jordan was that type of player. There was no competition for Michael Jordan. Doesn't mean there wasn't guys who were great. They were not Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan took offense to people saying Yeah, Clyde Drexler, he just as good as Michael Jordan. What? Took offense to that stuff. But there was really no competition for Michael Jordan. So what did Michael Jordan do? Well, he could only compete against himself. He pushed himself to continue to be better. And you can say the same thing for guys like Patrick Mahomes. He is literally the best quarterback in the league until someone proves that he's not. Who is he competing against? You can still have a competitive environment. The point of the competitive environment is not to turn your players against each other and be like chomping at the heels of each player talking about if you slip, I'm going to take your spot, because there are just certain positions that's not happening. But what you're doing when you're creating a competitive atmosphere, you create an atmosphere where everyone says, in order to be on this team, you must compete. You must be always working on being the best you that you can be. All of us working on doing everything right, and let everything else, whatever it is. It just rises to the top. And those who need to be taken notice of, they will be taken notice of. And so Brian is doing something that is masterful here. It's not about Joe Milton. Okay, he makes Dak Prescott better. Not by threatening his job. Not by threatening his job. But just by the mere fact that Dak Prescott is looking at him, and if he makes a good throw, I don't know about you, if I'm looking at a guy and he makes a good throw, I'm not thinking, wow, this guy can take my spot. Psh, please. I'm about to go make that throw. I can make that throw too. If I can't make that throw, well, I'm going to make a throw that maybe he can't throw. He's pushing me to be better, even though I'm already better than him. I'm not worried about him taking my spot, but what I am looking at is like, yeah, this dude pretty good. I like that. That means I must be better. Not because I'm going to lose my spot. No, I must be better, even if it's just for me. A competitive atmosphere. Again, it's not only about competing. Because if it is, somebody got to tell me who's competing with Brandon Aubrey. It's not about just competing. I'm just telling us. Poby Dave, what up with you? What up with you? Hey, Jimmy will tell you the same thing. You think Jimmy had people out there competing? Now, Jimmy, I think, tried to have some people competing. I think he tried to have a quarterback compete with Troy Aikman, but Jerry Jones shot that down. But I don't find it to be strange the following season, Troy Aikman had a breakout season, an absolute breakout season. Pure Gaming said, I kind of see where Joe Flacco is coming from. He's a Super Bowl champion. When he played for Cleveland, he took them to the divisional. But he would help the younger guys. Yeah, and like he said, he don't mind helping them if they'll listen. But he's also saying, but I'm not taking on that role of a mentor. Yeah. But Alex Smith did. Tom Brady was the same way. He did not want to mentor Jimmy Garoppolo. And I know why he didn't want to mentor Jimmy Garoppolo. No, he didn't want to mentor him. You see this, you see this all the time. But Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes without coaching. Ghostface Gaming in the crib tonight. Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes without coaching. And it's actually shameful that Dak Prescott, but I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it looks like they finally got something that's going. The coach, I think that we finally have the coach that we need. Dak Prescott in year 10, like George Pickens in year 4, is finally getting a quarterback that can make all the throws. Very smart quarterback, can read defenses. Dak Prescott in year 10. Year 10, and Brian Schottenheimer may very well be the best coach he had in his career. That's crazy when you think about it. But hey, It is what it is. But I think that Brian Schottenheimer is not just going to help Dak Prescott. I think it's going to help this entire team be what it needs to be. Daniel Liam, this shouldn't stop the front office from looking for more additions. I don't think it has. We're going to talk about it when we get to post-June 1st. Remember, it's always nice to add not only depth but actual real players. Yeah, I don't think. Again, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you what I think they're doing. All right, let's check him out.
One of the things we talked about last year with Eric Hendricks was that he could teach Mike Zimmer's system because he knew it so well. Obviously, you guys brought in Jack Sanborn, who has experience with Matt Eberflus. Just curious, does Matt Eberflus' system, do you think it needed kind of a translator or a guy who had that firsthand experience with it? And what else have you seen from Sanborn?
Ash Moon, what up?
Work ethic jumps off the tape.
Yeah.
The communication I was talking to, he has the advantage because he's been in the system. But again, I think Flus's system is so flexible, and again, we're going to always be multiple. Everything we do is going to be multiple on all three phases of the game, and that doesn't mean that you necessarily have to run 1,000 different coverages or run 1,000 different plays, but you're going to dress it up and do things like that. But Jack's been incredible. The command, also him, I would say, leaning into a couple of the younger backers, Barron and Shamar. That doesn't have to happen, but he's happy to help, which is great. Again, speaks to the fact that, he's a competitor. He wants to win the starting job, but he's also willing to, lean into those guys and answer questions and be a sounding board, and that's what we want. I mean, you can be a veteran that wants to compete to be a starter, but still help some of the younger guys. There's not a right way or wrong way to do it, and Jack's a very selfless player that we're excited to have.
See, Shotty is talking about what I'm talking about. See, people think competitive atmosphere is just about, man, it's cutthroat competing. It's not just about cutthroat competing. No, actually, it's about helping everybody to be their best. That's what it's about. It's about helping everybody to be their best. And again, not looking at somebody in the vein of, boy, I better step my game up. He can take my spot. No, wow, this guy, hey, that's pretty good what he did there. Let me see what he's doing. Let me kind of look at that. Wow, I may be able to add that to my own game. I may be able to add that to my own game. That's how, a lot of us, that's how we grow. That's how we grow sometimes. That's how we develop. You want to know how to get good at something? Watch somebody else do it. Find other people that do what you do. Watch them do it. And even if you're better than them, don't copy them. There are too many people that copy folk. Don't copy them. Nope, don't copy them. But you look at something that they do and you go, wow, okay, I never thought about that. And then you figure out, okay, is that something that I can do, but what can I do to add it to what I do and not copy it, but make it my own? What can I do to where it's something that's now my own? And that's how we all develop. That's how we all get better. The Bible is right. There's rarely anything, no, it doesn't say rarely. There is nothing new under the sun. So when we're talking about being competitive, it's not always about taking people's spot. No, it's about creating an atmosphere where everybody competes. And everybody knows it's the standard. Bro, you second string. Just because you're not first string, don't mean we're going to put up with you not competing. You fourth string. It don't mean we're going to put up with you not competing. Be competitive. And Jack Sanborn, let me tell you something. Jack Sanborn, I'm just telling you, this dude is a tackling machine. There's a reason why Matt Eberflus wanted him here. This dude is a tackling machine. He is going to play for the Cowboys. He's going to play for the Dallas Cowboys. You watch what I tell you. If he don't start, he's going to get a lot of game. Pure Gaming said there's a lot of positive talks about Miles Sanders. We might be surprised. Well, at this point, we're in OTAs. So, yeah. They're talking about him, but again, I gotta see it on the field a little bit more when it comes to him. Quentin Scott, he said, I need defensive tackle now, QB cornerback now. Yeah, but the Cowboys are saying, and I'm going to tell you why in a moment, not right now. Not exactly right now, unless something came available. Not right now. Marcus Rowe, he said that's crazy. Wasting careers with poor, mediocre coaching. Fans blame players way more than is right. Yep, Marcus Rowe. Yeah. Can you imagine how many quarterbacks get their careers? You think about Dayball over in New York. Is Daniel Jones really that bad? I wonder what Daniel Jones would look like with. I wonder what he would look like with Andy Reid. What would Daniel Jones look? Let me tell you something. Daniel Jones, I'm going to tell you what I think happened to Daniel Jones. You put him with coaches who you thought were better than what they were. Rather than getting rid of Saquon Barkley, you should have kept Saquon Barkley with him. And I think they thought he was Peyton Manning level good. And they just threw him into the fire on a bad team, a bad coach team. Daniel Jones, I believe, will get another opportunity. I think he's going to get another opportunity. And I think when he gets another opportunity, I think people are going to be shocked. I think people are going to be shocked with Daniel Jones. I really do. He's going to be shocked. Yeah, I like what you're saying, Ghostface. Dave Wannstedt type. Tell you this, boy, they say he is a linebacker whisperer. That's good. He should be there. He's looked at as a leader. Should compose himself as such. Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, this dude Sanborn, you watch what I tell you, this dude gonna ball, man. This dude gonna ball for sure. Mr. Shotty, what's going on? He said, that's how I learned a different way to study in college. I watched my classmate and how she studied and organized her subjects. Definitely helped me so much. Yeah. I've done the same thing, Mr. Shotty. I've done the same thing. Let me tell you something. I don't try to compete with YouTubers. But boy, let me tell you, man, there's a dude in this space right now. Shoot. Man, I caught a couple of this dude's videos. I just think different. I don't know. I saw a couple of this dude's videos. I said, oh, man. I didn't get scared. I said, oh, wow. It's time for me to really start stepping up my game. This guy's brought in another level on this thing. I like it. Now I need to go to another level. Not because I'm competing with him. I want him to be successful too. I like what he's doing. I'm looking at him going, man, you go. Yeah, that's the boy. Man. And then I look at myself and go, yeah, I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. Watching other people will bring stuff out of you. It'll bring stuff out of you, make you go. Because sometimes if we're the only thing we're looking at, we go, yeah, I'm good enough. But I always tell people, man, don't let good enough be good enough. No, don't let good enough be good enough. There are people who are saying right now I'm good, and they're wondering why they're not growing in the space. I'm good. And I think I'm better than him. Yeah, that's the problem. You think you're better than him. You think you're better than her. And so you feel like because you're better, you don't have to make a change. You just need to keep doing the same thing you've been doing. Okay? Watch how that work out. Because you've already been seeing how it's work out. I'm telling you, creating a competitive space is not just about competing. Not about being a rivalry with somebody. Not about being an antagonist and a protagonist. No. It's about being better. That's the atmosphere Brian is trying to create. That's the part some people are missing. And I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit early, but we're going to go in depth a little bit more later. And this is why, Daniel M., this is why the Cowboys are not going to be so quick to move on the next couple of moves I believe they make. You want to know why? They want to see what they have. They want to see if the guys they have, when they get them in the training camp, they want to see what they look like in them pads. They want to see what they look like when they call another team in the training camp and start training with them like they normally do with the Rams. They want to see, what does the competitive nature, has this thing that they've been working on, how does it look first with the players they have now? Let's see what they look like first. I can respect that. I can respect that. Let's see what they look like first. While at the same time, Daniel M., while at the same time, and let's keep watching The Wire. Let's keep listening. Let's keep listening to the grumblings. What are people saying? Who may be free? Who may cut somebody? Let's just keep listening. Because you have to understand, the first one that picks up the phone loses all the leverage. Yeah, the Cowboys probably do want DJ Reader. I would imagine they want DJ Reader. But do they want to pick up the phone first and call the Detroit Lions and say, hey, man, we want DJ Reader? Do they really want to do that? Cowboys pick up that phone and say, we want DJ Reader. Then Detroit Lions just say, yeah, let me tell you what we want. Yeah, let us tell you what we want. Because we about to take you to the cleaners now because you done called us. That shows us that you're the one who's the most desperate. You're the one that's the most desperate. So now that you call, what are you willing to give up? But if the Detroit Lions would have called the Cowboys, now the Cowboys got a leg up and say, this is what we're willing to give. What are you asking for? This is what we're giving. And if you don't like it, you're the one with the problem, not us. Because the reality is, I know we don't like what I'm about to say, but the reality is we have a one tech. Yeah, I know y'all don't. I know there are certain people who don't like that. We already have a one tech. And I really wish people would just say it for what it is. The reason why do we really want this one tech? Why do we really want this one tech? We can tell me anything we want to, but we're really saying something. We're really saying we don't think Mozzie gonna be able to take a step. Or if he does take a step, we're not sure we're not sure how big that step is. The Cowboys are going to give Mozzie Smith the opportunity to prove to them that he has taken another step. They're going to give him the opportunity. I'm not sure it's going to be a long leash, especially if DJ Reader jumps out there. I don't think it's going to be a long leash. But I can tell you this, you might better prepare yourself, because the Cowboys may very well feel like that Jay Toya, who had a 4th round grade from some of the evaluators, had a 4th round grade, and then Akeem Basadi is also back there. I'm just telling you, the Cowboys may be willing to roll with that for a certain amount of time. You better prepare yourself. You better prepare yourself. I've already prepared myself for those things because I know that the Cowboys, I think they're going to continue to make moves. I do think they are going to try to see if they can get DJ Reader, but they also have to prepare themselves for the fact that they may not be able to get DJ Reader. You have to. You have to. The Cowboys may very well want Jair Alexander, but they also need to give their players a chance to prove that they first. Man, maybe Kaiir Elam is the answer. Maybe Kaiir Elam is the answer. Maybe we don't have to go out and get a cornerback because Kaiir Elam, maybe he is a dog. Savon Revel Jr. He gets healthy. Wait a minute. Now we got Kaiir Elam, Savon Revel Jr., Deron Bland. Deron Bland plays on the outside early downs, passing downs, move him inside to the slot, move Kaiir Elam out. You need another defensive back. Bring in Casey Carson. Better yet, what about Marquise Bell? The Cowboys didn't pay Marquise Bell not to play. I think the Cowboys are going to try and see, do they have some solutions on their team already? And if they have some solutions on their team already, I don't think that stops them from making a move. I think that says maybe we don't have to make that move because maybe there is the move that we want to make, and maybe the move that we want to make may cost us a little bit more. So if we can see what we have first, it's like this. Think about this. Do you go and buy groceries without looking in the cabinet in the refrigerator? Who buys groceries without looking in the cabinet in the refrigerator? My wife has done that a couple of times. I've done it before. You go to the store and then you be thinking, man, we about to do hot dogs today. And then you be like, do we got mustard at home? Nobody's at home. You can't call nobody. Oh, do we have mustard? Oh, there's nobody there. Last time I remember, we might have been out. Let's get some mustard. Then you go home, you got 4 bottles of mustard. You got 4 bottles of mustard. You got to take some form of inventory. And I do think the Cowboys, I think they're anxious to see what Mozzie is. The Cowboys are telling us all these people are taking steps, but I think they want to have these guys taking steps. It's not just Mozzie Smith we need to be concerned about. It's our tackles in particular we need to be worried about. We need to see what Tyler Guyton is. We really do. We need to see what Mozzie Smith is. We need to see what they are. And so before we bring anybody in, let's see what they are. I mean, there's no point in getting this, that, and the other. Again, do we really need Stephon Gilmore? Do we really need Stephon? Think on this. Do we really need Jair Alexander? What if Kaiir Elam is an absolute beast? What if we bring in Kaiir Elam? I mean, let's just say we bring in Jair Alexander. And y'all already know if we bring in Jair Alexander, let's keep it a buck. You think he's in competition? You think if the Cowboys were to trade for Jair Alexander, give Jair Alexander some huge deal, so we think he's not going to start? We think he's not going to start. He's going to start. And that means then somebody has to go. And it's not just them fringe guys either. It's not just them guys way back there in the 5th and 6th depth parts of the depth chart. You bring in Jair Alexander, you're going to have to cut somebody in the meat of that depth chart. Somebody got to go because Trayvon Diggs is still over there too, working out on his knee and making doggone Emmy-nominated movies, trying to prove to people that he's going to be ready to go. And then you say, well, we're going to let it be Kaiir Elam. Kaiir Elam goes to another team. Let's say he goes to the Washington Commanders. Cowboys let it be Kaiir Elam. Kaiir Elam goes on the Washington Commanders and becomes an all-pro cornerback and balls smooth out. Was it because? Or maybe should we not have at least seen what he was before we said we're going to make this big jump on Jair Alexander? The Cowboys, I don't think it's not the fact they're not going to make moves. From what my understanding is, those teams that we're waiting on, they haven't cut those players yet. I don't think the Cowboys are going to go after those guys, especially without knowing what they have. And watch this. And if they don't cut those players anyway, they're playing chicken too. Because they're going to give other teams the opportunity also to see. Let's see if they like their own. And if somebody don't like their own, then we're going to get a phone call. This is the game of patience. You have to play this game. You have to play this game. And unfortunately, in patience, sometimes you got to take a chance too. You got to take a chance. I think that's what the Cowboys are doing. Yeah, I just gave you my post June 1st, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as we listen to Brian. But again, hey guys, this Cowboys After Hours. Boy, it's early. We got plenty of time. I got plenty of time. I don't know, some of y'all might have to go to sleep. Depending upon what coast you on. But again, let's keep rolling with this. Keep listening to Brian Schottenheimer. Appreciate all your comments. Let's keep it rolling.
Kyle Yeomans, Dallas Cowboys TV. We talked to Damone Clark a little bit last week too, sticking with linebackers. What have you seen in his progression with this system and how he's kind of come along this offseason?
Yeah, picked it up fast. I think the way he's diagnosing things looks quicker to me than maybe in the past. A little bit more command of it. The physical traits have always been there.
Yes, sir, Rockefeller.
The connection that he has with Flus, Coach Borgonzi, I think that's important. I know most guys are that way, but I think Damone, he's such a pleaser. He wants to do things the right way that I think that relationship that he's developed with Dave Borgonzi is incredible. And again, that's what this time of year is about as well. It's again, like we've said, what are we doing to connect the coaches to the players to the staff? And
I see you, Ghostface.
Dave's done a really good job of capturing not just Damone, but really that entire linebacker room, because there's a ton of new faces in there.
Yeah, and again, y'all have noticed the Dallas media is asking about these players. It's June the 4th as we're talking right now. They're asking about these players because, again, these are the players that are potentially going to be cut. These are the players that are going to potentially be cut. And if you think about Sam Williams, Damone Clark, they both, they're Sam Williams coming off an injury. Damone Clark had a great 2023, and for some reason he couldn't get on the field with Mike Zimmer. There was some kind of issue. He only played in 14 games. He only started 2, and that's crazy with DeMarion Overshown getting hurt. So these players, they want to see what those players look like with these new coaches. They want to see what these players look like with these new coaches. And I'm telling you, I think they're going to move swiftly. I think they'll move swiftly once they figure out what they have. I think I think they want to see Sam Williams. Sam Williams. He has to show the Cowboys. Damone Clark. He has to show the Cowboys. Mozzie Smith. He has to show the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are just waiting, because I don't think I don't think they're done. I don't. I think they're waiting, because if y'all hadn't noticed it, I thought it was kind of strange on Monday. I think everybody's waiting. I literally think everybody is waiting. I do. I think everybody waiting. I don't think anybody is saying, I don't think anybody's in a rush. I think everybody's playing chicken, and they're trying to figure out who's going to start picking up phones first. Well, I also think everybody's saying, okay, let's kind of get in the training camp. Maybe there's an injury. Some other team. Something's going, who knows? All these different scenarios. I think everybody's waiting, because, again, everybody knows whoever picks up the phone first loses leverage. When we pick up the phone, you don't get to make demands. If you pick up the phone, you don't get to make demands. You get to listen to our demands. But if we call you on the phone, you get to make demands. And if nobody's calling and you got to get rid of that player, you're eventually going to chop him off the block. You're eventually going to chop him off the block and say, let's move on, and we're just going to chalk it up as a loss. Marcus Rose said, that's right, G. You got to address the need however you can. Answer might be in-house, might be in free agency, but you keep looking for the answer. And yes, sir, Marcus Rowe, because this is the phase they're in now. This is the phase they're in now. Because, again, you bring in a cornerback. You bring in a defensive tackle. You're going to cut into the meat of your defensive tackle position. So that means you would have as your one tech, Mozzie. You would have Mozzie, Jay Toya, King Basadi. And then you bring in DJ Reader. So what do you do with all four of them? I'm pretty sure you're not carrying 4 one-tech defensive tackles. Somebody is going, because I even count King Basadi. I count him as part of the meat of the depth chart at defensive tackle, one-tech. So while you bring in a player, that means you're going to have to lose a player. And while King Basadi, we know he's not the starter, King Basadi may be a part of your young team regime, somebody that you were hoping to develop. You let him get out there on the open market, we'll see what happens. But I think the Cowboys, just like everybody else, they're going to be a little bit patient. They're going to see who gets antsy. They're going to see who starts picking up the phone first. And in the meanwhile, they're going to be evaluating, and the Cowboys will be in evaluation mode. They'll be in evaluation mode. Now, again, Daniel Lim, this is a double-edged sword. Because if you really want a player like DJ Reader, if you really want him, and if you don't pick up the phone, and if nobody picks up the phone about DJ Reader, and then they release DJ Reader, now all of a sudden, now you may get in some type of bidding war for DJ Reader. That becomes the problem, but that's also the chance that you're saying you're willing to take. And again, man, y'all got to understand. And I'm going to say you got to understand. I know you do understand. And this is why I don't get all bent out of shape. Some folk get so bent out of shape and so dogmatic about who the Cowboys ought to get. Man, this is my team, but this is not my team. Context matters. This is my team because I choose to be a fan and a content creator. This is not my team because I own them. I'm paying the bills. That's not what makes them my team. This is why I'm not going to get bent out of shape regardless of what the Cowboys do. I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it. Some people get so bent out of shape about this stuff. But they may not see Mozzie the way we do. Because I do think some of us are double talking. If we're really talking about Mozzie going to be all that in a bag of chips, why in the world do we need DJ Reader? I know why we need DJ Reader. But at the same time, you got to look at this from their perspective, though, that if they believe that Mozzie is going to turn into an all-pro, one-tech defensive tackle, do you really think do you really think it's an urgent need for the Cowboys? The Cowboys may very well be looking at Mozzie Smith saying, we rolling with him. We are rolling with him and Jay Toya. Man, I'm just not going to get upset about that. I'm not going to get upset about it. But I do say, we're going to continue to see if the Cowboys see this as a one-year win now plan, or if this is what I said it is, a continue building towards the best roster in the NFL. And then in 2026, you make a ferocious run for the chip because you'll have pretty much all your players. You go into the draft and you're drafting for best player on the best player available, and then you become the 92 Cowboys. You're a juggernaut coming out of the 2026 draft. And maybe because in the next year you won't be doing what you're doing in free agency this year. You're going for depth. Next year you'll be going for quality over quantity. We're going to see I think the next few weeks are going to tell us kind of where the Cowboys are with this. So that's why I'm kind of just watching and waiting. Because again, as much as I do believe, now if the Cowboys want to make a championship run, I think they need to do a lot of things as far as shoring up some of these positions where if we are not sure and this is a championship run, then you go and get the depth behind those positions. In particular, we're talking about the one tech defensive tackle. If you really making a championship run, don't take a chance. Go get DJ Reader. Don't even take a chance. You want to make a championship run? I would actually say go get Stephon Gilmore, because Kaiir Elam may very well be about to break out. Kaiir Elam, it sounds like for all intents and purposes, they're setting him up for a breakout. But for assurance, I go get Stephon Gilmore, because I'm saying I'm all in. I'm plugging up every hole. I'm plugging up every hole. Anything. Man, I'm telling you, I'd be tempted to even at Tyler Guyton's position. I'd be tempted. Is there a left tackle out there? Is there a left tackle? I'm telling you, if I was really talking about a championship run, I wouldn't be taking chances. I wouldn't be taking chances. But if I'm saying, hey, man, we got young guys. We're going to try to roll with our young guys, see what we have. Let's see where we are by the trade deadline. Let's roll with it, see what we got. And if we need to make some improvements, we need to make some trades, we'll do it then. I'm just saying, maybe this is some of the stuff the Cowboys are considering. But I'm going to sit back and watch. I think what they're doing, I think it's pretty smart for now, because we really have to see what they think about these guys. And this is why when I hear this stuff in OTAs, I like what I'm hearing in OTAs, but I also think that Brian Schottenheimer is saying something that we have to pay attention to. The defense is not allowed in OTAs to get the ball, grab possession of the ball. They're not. OTAs, from everything I'm hearing, it's really not about the defense. And I said this the other day. OTAs to me is really where you're watching more of the skill positions. The defensive guys, you're just, like Brian said the other day, yeah, with them you're kind of looking more at individual drills, because the linemen show up when the pads come on. The linemen show up when the pads come on. So right now, I do think what they're saying, let's see what we have when we get them pads on. I think that's what they're saying. Azteca says, what's going on? Doesn't have to have an extra. I think they are going to get some extra. I just don't think they're going to do it right now. I don't think they're going to do it right now. I think they're waiting on everyone else to make a move. Because I'm telling you, whoever starts making moves, you're going to be the one getting fleeced. You're going to be the one getting fleeced. They don't want to get fleeced. The Cowboys don't want to get fleeced. They want to sit back and wait. My sister Lisa Worley, what's going on? C-Bay says, same deal, but you get 20-plus linemen out there. Yeah. Yeah, same deal, but you got 20-plus linemen out there. Yeah. I think everybody is waiting on everybody to start making moves. And until somebody makes moves, I think everybody is standing pat on anything they're doing. And again, I understand. Y'all got to think about this for a second. This is a very pivotal time. You actually don't want to move too quick, because if you move too quick, I'm telling you, you'll wind up overspending. Just wait until some movement starts happening. Just wait. Just wait until some movement starts happening. That's all you got to do. Just wait. And it will begin to happen eventually. Wilson Santiago. Stephen Jones completely shuts down and you talk about a Ramsey trade. When Jones was asked if there's anything to Ramsey smoke, he said no. He plays for the Dolphins. Man, I just... The Jalen Ramsey stuff, I think that's for real. I think that's for real. I don't think the Cowboys are interested in Jalen Ramsey. I don't think they're interested in paying him. But we'll see. I would be shocked. Jalen Ramsey, I'll be honest, Jalen Ramsey to the Cowboys would be a shock to me. Jalen Ramsey would be a shock. He really would. Yeah. Shotty and Jerry keeping everything close to the vest. Yes, lasagna moving. Yeah. They moving like that S in they moving like that G in lasagna. They moving like that G in lasagna. Marcus Rowe, yes sir. First domino is the hardest to fall. Cowboys don't want to play that game. They're not trying to play that game. Ty Church, late night, what's going on with you? They're not trying to play that game. It's not that I don't think it's not an issue. They don't want DJ Reader. I think they're waiting. They want Detroit to start making some phone calls, or Detroit to start saying, "Yeah, we gonna let him go, or we gonna do this, or we gonna do that." Nah, they waiting. Yeah, they waiting. Ty Church said, "Don't forget Rodgers and Daxon." I mean, they waiting, man. Everybody, they waiting. And I think everybody's waiting. What up with your Suge Midnight? Yes, sir. I think everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. We got to understand the Cowboys have already given up a third. They've already given up a third rounder. What did they give up for Joe Milton? A sixth? You don't want to just start giving up the whole draft, because if you start giving up too much, yeah, you better be in win mode now then. You better be in win now mode if you're going to go into next year with only about 4 or 5 draft picks. Now, you better be in win now mode. Wilson said no one's going to want to play chicken, and if you balls out, if the Cowboys do get him, imagine how much he's going to ask for. Yeah, and that's going to be the issue too with old Georgie George. But I'm hoping that we can really, I hope George Pickens really likes it here. And maybe he gives the Cowboys the Texas discount rather than the Cowboys discount. Mr. Shotty said, we called the Steelers and still won that trade. Now, let's think about the Steelers, Mr. Shotty. Let's think about the Steelers. The George Pickens situation. That went all the way back to the draft. And the Cowboys played the Steelers like a fiddle. The Cowboys played the Steelers like a fiddle. The Steelers were trying to get into this year's draft. The Cowboys had a draft board, and they said, heck to the no. Because we already know. Shannon Sharp reported on this. There were no teams that were willing to bring George Pickens into the locker room. There were no teams willing to do it. And especially, I'm sure, any teams that they could get something from. The Cowboys knew this. They took a chance and knew we can circle the block on George Pickens. Yeah, the Cowboys knew they could circle the block. I talked about that. They already knew they could circle the block on George Pickens. George Pickens' attitude was so bad to some teams, and especially when you start talking about, sometimes the hearsay is worse than the actual thing. And so you think about even people that's been talking about George Pickens. They've been saying stuff that's been making me scratch my head. They talking about off the field incidents, fights and stuff. I'm like, what is this stuff? Cowboys knew they were going to be able to circle the block on George Pickens because they knew that people didn't want him. Because if somebody would have wanted George Pickens, and you just think about some of these wide receiver starved teams, why in the world wouldn't the Kansas City Chiefs want George Pickens for $4 million? Patrick Mahomes, to me, hasn't had a superstar receiver since Tyreek Hill. Superstar tight ends, but not superstar wide receivers. But there were a lot of teams that didn't want to take a chance on George, and so they knew they could circle back on him. Now, these other players, think about it. We're the ones talking about this. They're not. We're talking about these trades. We're talking about the Cowboys need a one tick in the cornerback. I haven't heard the Cowboys say that yet. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard the Cowboys say they need a one tick. I heard Stephen Jones out of his own mouth say, we need a number 2 receiver, and that receiver is not on this team. I haven't heard him say we need a one tech. That's the Dallas Cowboys spear out here. That's us out here looking at Mozzie Smith And again, we don't want to admit it. But that's us out here talking about Mozzie Smith. That's what we're doing. We're saying we need to one tech. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I have not heard the Dallas Cowboys say we need a one tech. I have not heard the Dallas Cowboys one time say they need a one tech. Not one time. If anything, they've been talking so good about Mozzie, I think they're really telegraphing or something. We're willing to roll with him. We're willing to roll with him until he shows us something different in those pads. We're willing to roll with him. CB said Mozzie showed what he showed last year. We're waiting for him to put on the pad for the first time, then to have changed significantly. Nah, he hasn't played since then. Maybe he got stronger, faster for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because C-Base, I haven't heard the Cowboys say they need a one tech. I hear us saying we need a one tech. I didn't hear the Cowboys say that. Am I saying we need a one tech? I'm going to say the quiet parts out loud. I don't think anybody is sure about what Mozzie is going to be. And that is the number one reason that we want to go get DJ Reader. Because if DJ Reader is a super stud, I mean, if Mozzie Smith is a super stud right now, if he's all pro level, I don't think we're having a conversation about DJ Reader. I don't think we're having that conversation. And if we are, it's definitely not loud. It will be only a few of us. It wouldn't be a lot of us talking about that one tech. If Mozzie had shown us what we thought he was going to be, or what he, if he was meeting expectations, I don't think anybody be talking about this. And as again, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I heard Stephen Jones say out of his own mouth, we need a number 2 wide receiver. I saw Jerry Jones give up a 4th rounder for Jonathan Mingo. I haven't heard that about the one tech. I haven't heard it. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that means the Cowboys aren't wanting that one tech. I just hadn't heard him say it. You know what? I don't think they have I think it's exactly where it is, what we're talking about. I don't think we're worried about Oso Digizua. Have y'all noticed we're not talking about Oso Digizua? Even with Solomon Thomas behind him. We're not talking about we're not talking about that 3 tech, I think it is. We're not talking about Osa. Have y'all noticed that? We're talking about Mozzie. We're talking about Mozzie Smith. And I think the reality is we don't think Mozzie, even though some say he's going to take a step. If this dude was all pro, I don't think this would be that same conversation. Oak Cliff Rockefeller said he owed Mozzie his Waffle House right there. Man, you got me rolling. C-Bet said, so when exactly is the trade deadline now, post June 1st? I think it's all the way up until the first game of the season, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, I mean, it is what it is now. Because you're going to see players getting cut. You're going to see players starting to get cut, I believe, probably around training camp time. So you can get who you want. Marcus Rose said, I think Mozzie got that baby Huey strength. He needs to work on core strength so he can hold ground. And I think, I still say, Marcus, I think one of the things that they messed him up with is when Dan Quinn got him to lose weight. Man, it is hard. It is hard when you get a guy to lose weight, man, that does something to you when your body, that's your normal weight, your playing weight, and somebody gets you to slim down. We're going to see what he is. Zimmer got him back up he got his weight back up last year, showed some flashes with Zimmer. We'll see what he does with Eberflus and that defensive line coach. Douglas Harrison. If they wanted Gilmore, he would be on the team. Douglas Harrison, let me tell you what I've heard about these older players. And I think this is the very reason why Keenan Allen, we'll see what happens. I think this is the very reason that Keenan Allen isn't on a team. One, I don't think some of these teams see Keenan Allen the way some of our Dallas Cowboy fans see Keenan Allen. But number two, Sometimes these teams don't even bother to bring in some of the older guys because they don't want to do training camps. Some of the older guys don't want to do training camps. They just don't. They definitely don't want to do no mandatories. They don't want to do that stuff. They're older. If you listen to some of these older players, Douglas, I used to hear Shannon Sharp talk about this stuff before he started going crazy. Shannon Sharp said that he said he could actually still play. He said the part that he didn't like was the grind. The mini camps, the training. He said that's the part he didn't like. He said that if he could have played without going through the camps, he might would have played another 2 or 3 years. But he got tired of the grind. And I think that happens to quite a few players. I think they get tired of the grind. The football season is a grind. Wilson said, I mean, that depends on what team will get him to be honest. Okay, I missed on that. Yeah, Mozzie needs some more snaps. And Wilson, if the Cowboys think Mozzie needs more snaps, I don't think they're going to be willing to just automatically bring somebody in. I think they just want to see what he is. Marcus Rowe, facts. OTAs are just extended combine routines. Yeah. So I'm telling you, don't y'all worry. If these jokers see that this dude ain't what he's supposed to be, don't you worry. They're going to pull that trigger. They're going to pull that trigger. Unless the Cowboys may not be in. I think you're always in win now mode. But I also think there's another level of win now mode. I think every team's in win now mode for the most part. But I think there's a different level of win now. When you look at your roster and say, this roster is good to great. We want to win now. Is there a player out there right now that we're saying, we don't mind if paying that player $15 million for one season, the way Bill Belichick did Darrelle Revis, if paying that player $15 million gets us a Super Bowl, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. And so, I'm not very sure if they're thinking they're at that level yet. But we're going to see. We're going to see. But again, let's just be patient. I think we're going to be fine. I think the Cowboys are doing exactly what a lot of these other teams are doing. Because I actually thought we were going to have the frenzy like we had when free agency opened up post June 1st cuts. I think where the surprise is, where are the cuts? Where are the cuts that we were anticipating? Where are the cuts? Nobody has made any significant cut yet. So where are the cuts? Until we start seeing some significant cuts, you're not going to see any significant moves. I think that's where they are. I don't think it's about the fact they're not going to do them. They're just not going to do them until they see what they have in pads and other people start making moves too. We'll see. Hold on a second. Let's hear some more, Brian.
Asked earlier about the burden of the Super Bowls, but the outside perception is, even though it's your first year to run the program, it's a 30-year drought. Does the drought of the Super Bowls weigh on you at all? How do you kind of navigate that, having a clean slate that you have versus the history that?
Yeah, I don't get caught up in the drought. This is 1 year. I mean, this is the first year of mine. I mean, I've been here a couple years. But, when the season's over, we move on. We do. We move on.
Yeah.
So 2024 is over.
Yeah.
Now it's 2025. Are we going to win the Super Bowl this year? I hope. I think we are. If we don't, you move on. You go to 2026 and beyond. But, to sit here and say that we worry about, when the last time it was it 96? Is that when the last one was? I know that stat, but I don't stay up at night going, man, it's been X amount of years. I'm not wired that way because I'm competing every day to try to win a Super Bowl. And so if I'm looking back and I'm worried about that, then guess what? I'm not focused on what really matters, which is making sure we throw an incredible practice today.
I hope Brian can instill this attitude in his team. Because I don't think fans get what Brian Schottenheimer just said. I don't think fans get it. And I know we're anxious to win a Super Bowl as a fan base. Let us understand it's hard to win Super Bowls. That's number one. Times have changed, so we got to get up with the times. That's number two. Everybody else is competing for the Super Bowl too. But we also have to understand we cannot hold this team accountable for things that have happened in the past that they were not a part of. Rather than us holding them accountable for that, we remind them of the championship legacy of the Dallas Cowboys and rather ask them to carry on that while at the same time not giving them the guilt of the last 30 years. Because this is one of the problems I think we've had. I think we got 30 years of anger and we pour it all out on the team today. We pour it all out on Dak Prescott. And then before we know it, we start comparing the teams that we've put together recently, trying to act like those teams were equal to the teams that Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin played on, when that is absolutely not true. I don't think we understand how great the 90s Cowboys were. And to be comparing these players, I don't think the players the players are not what you should be comparing. Because I still say, and I don't care who it makes mad, you're entitled to your own opinion. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott on the teams that Troy Aikman played on, they'd have won too. They would have won too. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott would have won on those 90s Cowboys team. That 92-93 Cowboys, yeah. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott both win. They win. And the thing about Dak Prescott that is impressive, and people don't give him credit for, but Dak Prescott's rookie season was so impressive. I think Jerry missed a golden opportunity in Dak Prescott's first 4 seasons. He missed a golden opportunity. They had Dak Prescott on a Hubba Bubba contract. I mean, that contract was pennies on the dollar, man. Jerry should have did everything he could do to absolutely load that team down with players. Down with players. Jerry should have been the same way Jimmy was. Jerry should have been free agency. Jerry should have been trading. Jerry should have been saying, man, I don't care what nobody say. We got to put more. We got a quarterback we didn't even expect to be this good. We got to continue. We got to put more and more and more and more around him. Do y'all realize we're on the verge? We're on the verge of putting a better team around Dak Prescott, making $200+ million guaranteed, paying a $30+ million wide receiver, paying $100+ million, probably upwards of $140-something million defensive end, $90 million defensive tackle. Who knows what we're about to pay Deron Bland? I mean, we're on the verge of putting a better team around Dak Prescott with a humongous contract than we did with Dak Prescott on a pennies on a dollar contract. Let that sink in. Jerry really, really should have dug in like the San Francisco 49ers did with Brock Purdy. Boy, one thing I can say about the San Francisco 49ers, you can't blame them for trying. You want to talk about putting blockbuster teams around Jimmy Garoppolo and then Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy was loaded with talent. I mean, he was loaded with talent all around him, everywhere. Top 5 tight end in the game. Best running back in the game. Linebacking core. I mean, those guys, top 10 linebackers. I believe the best defensive end in the game. Wide receivers. There was a time in this league that Deebo Samuel was probably a top 10 wide receiver. When they got him Brandon Ayuk. They put players all around Brock Purdy. Not to mention, gave him a mastermind play caller in Kyle Shanahan. They put everything around this dude early on. And got the Super Bowls. Just couldn't win them. NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, got to the Super Bowl, Jimmy Garoppolo. I wish Jerry would have did more of that with Dak Prescott, but now they're on the verge of doing it so late in his career. It's crazy. Todd Church, Mozzie has met now you said he's met expectations, I think you're saying. I don't think he's met expectations. I don't think Mozzie's met expectations. But I also agree with you here, too. He can't play 80 snaps. I agree with you there. So if he can't play 80 snaps, is DJ Reader necessary? Because I'm telling you, DJ Reader to me is a championship move. Cowboys going to probably have to pay some money for DJ Reader. And again, I do believe that if you want to win, you got to spend. You got to spend to win. You can only do so many bargain contracts. There is going to have to be somebody other than your own players. There's going to have to be somebody that Jerry Jones is going to have to pay. And it's going to have to be somebody like either George Pickens, DJ Reader. Somewhere down the line, the Cowboys are actually going to have to pay for a player they didn't draft. You got to spend to win. But yeah, I get you on the rotation with Mozzie. But DJ Reader is a heck of a rotation. I don't call DJ Reader a rotation piece. I call DJ Reader an almost starting piece that he might actually take the starting job. But I would love to see it. And I'm hoping that they actually make that move. I think DJ Reader would be incredible for the Cowboys. I really do. I think he'd be incredible. Osa's always been solid. Yeah. That's why they went and got Solomon Thomas. Yeah. Solomon Thomas, while he may be a rotational piece, he's also a backup piece. You bring in DJ Reader, he may very well be better than Mozzie. DJ Reader may very well be better than Mozzie Smith. And so that's why that DJ Reader move, hey, that's a serious move right there. That ain't just no punk move. That's a serious move. That's a serious move. I'm telling you. C-Base, he says, I think they're waiting, but the waiting game loses opportunity. Now, C-Base, I said this about George Pickens. You take a chance when you spin the block. Now, that means when you take those chances, maybe you know something. Maybe you know something. Maybe you know that he'll be there if you want him. Maybe you've already been kind of listening to the whispers. Maybe you know DJ Reader. Or maybe you also understand there may be somebody else to shake loose. Because is DJ Reader the only alternative? Maybe somebody else shakes loose. Bobby Murphy, what's going on? Bobby Murphy, I see that Eagles jersey on you. Cowboys are still fundamentally flawed. Did nothing to improve on defense versus the run. Yeah, that's why we're talking about the one tech. And on offense, have a shaky O-line with average running backs. Facts. I don't think the running backs are yet to be seen as being average because I think Jaden Blue is not an average running back. I really don't. The offensive line, I don't think is shaky. I think the tackles are shaky. I think the two guards in the center are solid as a rock. And we'll see Terrence Steele coming off of an injury. Will he be better? But understand this, Bobby Murphy. I don't know if you ever seen the Dave Chappelle show, Charlie Murphy, Bobby Murphy. But the thing that we're not worried about with the offensive line, though, is because we have the guards. We have the guards in the center right. But we also got an option on offense, I believe, that we don't have on defense. We have an option on offense on the offensive line that we can move Tyler Smith to the left tackle position. We can move Cooper Beebe to the left guard. We can insert Brock Hoffman in as the center. then we can move Tyler Guyton to right tackle and leave Booker at right guard. And that offensive line, I would dare say, that offensive line may even be better than what we presently call our offensive line. So our offensive line is there. Our offensive line is there, Bobby. But the Cowboys, they did improve. They did improve. But again, I think the only reason why you would say it didn't improve on defense versus the run is because they didn't make a move to try to add some depth. And they did make some depth behind him with Jay Toya. And Jay Toya may be way better than people think. Jay Toya, while he may not be a starter, he may be very good. He may be very good to, who's to say he isn't good in a rotation with Mozzie? Who's to say he isn't? Who's to say he isn't good for 20 snaps? He may very well be good for 20 snaps. But I get what everyone is saying. I do. I get it. I would love for the Cowboys to go get DJ Reader. I just don't think they're in a hurry to do it. I don't think they're in a hurry to do it because, again, you pick up the phone, you get fleeced. Yeah, trade deadline late November to December. That's why I said, Ty Church, the Cowboys could very well roll with this. They may very well roll with this. For real, they may very well roll with this. I don't think they will. Daniel says the longer the Jones boys wait, the likelihood of teams going after the player that Dallas wants. Well, I tell you this, Daniel M., I give them credit for this. They're going to have to figure out who Cowboys want. Because, again, can somebody tell me when the Cowboys mentioned DJ Reader? Can somebody tell me when the Cowboys said they need a one tech? The Cowboys are really playing their hands very good. They're not telegraphing to anybody anything that they want. Ty Church said, I see Mozzie gets 40 snaps a game. Yeah, and boy, if you could move DJ Reader in there, DJ Reader would be great in there. But I think if you bring in that dude DJ Reader, boy, DJ Reader might get more snaps, Ty Church. What you think? I think DJ Reader might get more snaps. Tell me what you think, Ty Church. DJ Reader's a beast. Boy, Ty Church, did you say you bet they get a defensive tackle from the CF, from the Canadian Football League? Boy, are you being for real? Wait a minute, I think they're getting a defensive tackle in the CFL League. What? Boy, stop it, for real. Oh, Patrick Watkins said the Cowboys could look at UFL. Oh, the UFL for any. No, I wouldn't do that. Now, hey, they've had some luck. Brandon Aubrey, Cavante Turpin. Man, we talking about defensive tackle now, man. We talking about defensive tackle, man. You trying to stop the run. I mean, I wouldn't even take a chance. Oak Cliff Rockefeller said he said he liked that. He'd take a chance on it. Man, I don't know if I'd do that one. Man. MJ tell the truth. He said it's Super Bowl or bust always for the Cowboys, period. Now, MJ, again, that's true for everybody. But, MJ tell the truth. Let's be real. But there's a team that you have sometimes that you go, no. This team right here, there's no questions. This team is ready to roll. We need to make one more move. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a 90s example. I'm going to give you a 2024 example. The Dallas Cowboys full well had a great team in 1992. The Cowboys in August of 1992 heard that the San Francisco 49ers and Charles Haley were not getting along because they were already that good. And this player was going to literally push them over the top. Charles Haley was their win now move. They only got 3 Super Bowls out of it. Charles Haley was a menace. Charles Haley was an absolute menace. Charles Haley was that player that you better know where he is on the field. Double teams, whatever you name it. Charles Haley, you had to do it. The Philadelphia Eagles did it in 2024. The Philadelphia Eagles went into the 2022 Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs because they put the entire game on the back of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was responsible for, if I'm not mistaken, I think Jalen Hurts was responsible for at least, I'm thinking either 28 points. I'm talking Jalen Hurts was responsible for 28 points against the Kansas City Chiefs. Problem is they gave up 38 points. They came back. They took 2 years. Came back in 2024. Much improved defensive line. Improved offensive line. Kept the wide receiver duo. They did so many things, but the thing that put them over the top, they said, and we will not go into this Super Bowl on the back of Jalen Hurts. We're going to go into this Super Bowl, and we're going to control both lines of scrimmage. And we're going to get us a piece that's going to put us over the top. And his name is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was their win right now piece. Everybody's in win now. But when your team is that good, who is your right now piece? Who is the piece on your team that you say, right now, this dude take us over the top? The Baltimore Ravens tried to do it. They failed. You know who their right now person was? Derrick Henry. They thought Derrick Henry was going to be their right now player, and he almost pulled it off. Problem is, Baltimore Ravens don't have any patience. They rolled up in a playoff game. Derrick Henry got stopped against the Buffalo Bills, and rather than keep on pounding him, keep on running him, and be patient, they reverted back to Lamar Jackson ball. And it ended the same way all these playoff games end for the Baltimore Ravens. The ball in the hands of Lamar Jackson. It's failed. How many times now? It's failed 3 times. So everybody's in, you win. We want to win now. But you get at points, your team is so good. No, we want to win right now. Not R-I-G-H-T, R-A-T, right now. We want to win right now. Like the San Francisco 49ers when they went and got Christian McCaffrey. They said, we want to win right now. San Francisco 49ers were already good. They said, we want to win right now. Who is that player? And that's why I'm wondering, where are the Cowboys realistically in their own minds? Because I'm sure teams have this discussion. I mean, come on, we're not smarter than these guys, even though we think we may be at times. But you don't think these guys are looking at their teams from time to time? You don't think they're looking at their teams from time to time saying, we're one player away. No, literally. No, we're one player away. Who is the player out there we could get right now and win the Super Bowl? Everybody's looking for that player right now. Last year, Philadelphia found him. Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was the right now player for them because they already had the defense that could do it. The Eagles said, not only will we be the number 1 team against the run, our goal also is to be the number 1 running team. Saquon Barkley gave them that right now player. That's what you're looking for. When you get good, who is that player? You think about the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, you can tell you something. I'll tell you in a minute, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. But that joker had, when that dude had Tyreek Hill, shoot, Tyreek Hill was right now, boy. Tyreek Hill was right now. Travis Kelce was right now. Used to be, even though he was already on the team. He's not no more. He's not a right now player. And so you got to find those right now players. Now, I think DJ Reader. DJ Reader, and that's why I want to see what the Cowboys do training camp time after they kind of see what they have. I want to see what they do. I really want to see if the Cowboys go out there and take a chance on a guy like DJ Reader. Because DJ Reader, to me, on this team, DJ Reader is getting close to right now. He really is. He's getting very close. He's getting very close. Because we don't know what this team is on the field. But on paper, man, this thing look good. It really does. George Boney, he says, Logan, George Boney said, be realistic. Okay, we're going to be realistic. He said, Logan, look at Wilson. You started safety. Did you? George Boney said the Cowboys have the worst safeties in the league. I think they're going to change them out. I think Donovan Wilson is going to be a post-June 1st cut. I think Marquise Bell is going to be the starting safety for the Cowboys, and I do think that Wanye Thomas is going to give Hooker a run for his money. And I'll tell you this much, Daniel M., this may bring you some comfort. If the Cowboys bring in Jalen Ramsey, I believe the Cowboys bring in Jalen Ramsey as a safety. I don't think they put him at corner. I think they put him at safety. And I think Jalen Ramsey as a safety is way more, at this point in his career, he's way more dangerous as a safety than he is a cornerback. Yeah, I put him at safety. And I do think if the Cowboys get him, I think that's exactly where he's going to be. I do. Okay, Sean Ginsberg said easy as off the ball linebacker is dumb. Easy. Come on, Ezraku? All right, let's see. Ignacio, what up? He said, I agree with you, G. We need to go get key pieces all in the interior of our defense, starting a defensive tackle 1 or 3 tech period. Yeah. And I think they're going to do it. I still say I think they're going to do it. But I also think they're going to give Mozzie a chance to prove himself, as in, has he taken a step or has he not taken a step? Because training camp is when the defense gets the opportunity to get even. Yeah, that's when the defense going to get an opportunity to get their hands on that ball. Lisa said, I'm starting to think they're not going to do much to our roster. They get ready to start putting players in their spots, and there's players on the cutting board, but nobody wants to go first. Yeah. Again, Lisa, they're going to do something. They're going to do something. They're playing, and I don't know if it's even in the waiting game. They want to see what they have. I think they like what they have right now. Not right now, right now. I think they love what they have, and they're going to let them, they want to see what they have. They're going to let them start going up against each other. And then as time goes on, they're going to wait and see who gets this or who gets that. Because as long as DJ Reader is sitting on the Detroit Lions roster, you really have nothing to worry about. And the reason why I say you have nothing to worry about, because if someone else wanted DJ Reader, well, this would be their opportunity to get him too. So the Cowboys right now, they're not worried. They're not worried about DJ Reader. They can circle the block on him. They can definitely circle the block on him. And I think, again, they got plenty of time. In actuality, the Cowboys got plenty of time because from everything that I'm seeing, I don't think nobody's in a hurry to make any moves. I don't think anybody is going to make any moves right now. I think a lot of teams are doing the same thing. They're going to sit back and wait and see what they have. All right, I was trying to see something that came down on the wire. Oh, okay, nothing. All right, let's listen to some more Shotty because I wanted to get to the end because there's something at the end that he says that I want to show you a couple of things about why coaching is important. And I do think this is also – I also think this is the Cowboys saying they're going to show us coaching matters. Mozzie going to look different with better coaching. Mozzie going to look different with better coaching. And I think that's what they're saying. Marcus Rowe said exactly, G, from 2016 to 2019, the front office was embarrassingly cheap. Could have built an awesome roster like Seattle did with Russell Wilson. Boy, yes. Boy, Marcus Rowe, they could have built a super team around Dak. And I'm not talking about just offensively. They could have built a super team around Dak defensively. Because that's actually what helped the Seattle Seahawks win a Super Bowl when Russell Wilson was the quarterback. Russell Wilson had the run game. People do not understand how talented Marshawn Lynch was. I think there was a time in an alternate universe where Marshawn Lynch may have been the best running back in the NFL. I mean, in an alternate universe. But in the universe we were in, Marshawn Lynch was a monster. He was an absolute monster. And if they run that ball against the Patriots down there at the goal line in that Super Bowl where they let Brady go into legendary GOAT mode, get that GOAT status on him with that play by Butler, I think the Seahawks win that game. Marshawn Lynch was that good. He really was. Marshawn Lynch was that good. All right, let's check this out.
And then it's been a few years since Nick has been in the special teams realm, going back to y'all's time together in Jacksonville. Just where is he at in the process of, getting the way that he wants the unit to be moving and things like that, and the players as well with him?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Nick is an incredible football coach. Here's my belief with football coaches in general, and again, I think our staff's incredible, but you can find great coaches anywhere, and when you're a really good coach, you could coach any phase. Nick's an incredible coach, and so other than the kickoff rule, because when we were in Jacksonville, it was a regular kickoff. So now it's like, yeah, it looks a little different. So that's been an adjustment for him. Carlos Polk and he were together in Jacksonville. That's why getting Carlos here, who's another Cowboys legend. We actually celebrated him amongst the Bob Lillies and Randy White. Not quite the same crowd appreciation from our players, but Carlos is seen as a Cowboys legend. This is, I think, his third or fourth tour of duty here. But Nick's doing great. Again, it's a deal where we're preaching speed, violence, and finish. And that's what Nick's coached from the time he played special teams for 14 or 12 years, whatever it was, and what he's coaching the DBs. And so football's football, man. Fundamentals are fundamentals. It's
I said this before, too.
Tackling, and he's one of the best I've ever been around at teaching that.
Jared Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, looks like Kenneth Murray, who you traded for, has been running with the ones a lot through OTAs. What have you seen from him coming over from Tennessee so far? Well,
I'm going to go back. We played, actually on my 50th birthday a couple years ago, we played in L.A., played the Chargers, and I remember they had him and Kendricks, and he's a great player too, but I remember going into that game really concerned about, I think he's wearing number 9, I think. But the athleticism, the power, the ability to diagnose, excellent tackler, physical. So a guy we've been watching for a couple years. Again, right now we're not doing ones and twos. We're rotating things around as we create competition, but he is not disappointed. The same player that we saw in L.A. a couple years ago on Monday night, I think it was, is the same guy that we're seeing every day out there at practice. Really
he
great
started.
feel. Understands how to defeat blocks and fit gaps, and that's a big part of a guy that's got veteran experience and leadership, quite honestly.
Jonah Javad, WFAA. Brian, your enthusiasm.
Yeah, Murray's going to start. There's no doubt about it. Murray's going to start. Yeah, Murray's going to start. Todd Church, he said that's good if DJ Reader start and let Mozzie take a big jump as a backup. Yeah, again, I think DJ Reader comes in here, for as much as we want DJ Reader, Todd Church, I don't consider him, I wouldn't consider him a backup. I mean, you're talking about a rotational piece. This dude may very well get more. I could easily see a scenario where this dude got more time than Mozzie. I do. I really do. Yes, sir. Y'all remember that, don't you, Marcus Rowe, C-Base? Boy, the twin brother of Darkness, boy. Darkness. Murphy. Charlie Murphy. Yeah, boy, it was funny to me. Yeah. Oh, Bobby Murphy said Charlie Murphy's his brother. Man, I was wrong when he put his feet up on the couch. Forget your couch. Boy, I'm telling you, I was crying, man. I was absolutely crying. Daniel M said, G, think about it. It's like this here. 4 defensive tackles and 6 defensive ends on your front 7 is not good enough to stop the run. Yeah. Daniel M, I still think the only issue we're really talking about is Mozzie. Also, Diggy he going to be fine. I even think Solomon Thomas as his backup is going to be fine. I think Osa makes another step this year. I think Solomon Thomas is going to be great for the Cowboys. We're talking about defensive tackle. One tech. Why? Mozzie. Because if Mozzie takes the step that some people say he's going to take, I don't think the Cowboys are actually then why would they be looking at Reader? Reader to me is a championship level move. And Reader may very well take Mozzie's spot. Man, you're talking about a tough, super tough, very good veteran one-tech defensive tackle that the only reason why the Detroit Lions are even probably thinking about letting him go is not because he's not good anymore. They don't want to pay him. With all these, they are loaded at that position, if I'm not mistaken, with some of the moves they've made here lately. So, at the end of the day, if I think about every position, I'm talking starters and then their backups. Let's see. When I think about Dante Fowler, I think about Donovan Ezeraku, which he's going to be a part of a rotation over there. I think about on that side also. I think about Peyton Turner. I think about Sam Williams. He gets back in here. I think about Oso Digizua. I think about Oso Digizua and Solomon Thomas. I think about Michael Parsons. I think about Marshawn Nealon. And I'm pretty sure Ezeraku can probably play from both sides. The question for me, if I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys defense as it applies to not only the depth, but the starter, it's Mozzie Smith. And if Mozzie is really already where we think he should be, and if, let's say, we think he's going to be where we want him to be, do you really need a DJ Reader level rotation piece with him? If that's the case, then you maybe just go out there and find somebody that, I don't know, maybe you find somebody in between Toya and Mozzie. But if you bring in DJ Reader, I'm sorry, you're bringing in a starter. CJ Bass, yep, I just said it, didn't I? Older Reader is still better than young Mozzie. Yeah. He's not a rotation piece. He's a starter. I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind having those types of problems. I don't mind having those types of problems. But I'm just saying, though, I definitely don't mind having those kind of problems. But again, I don't know. Maybe they see Mozzie differently than we do. George Boney, I hope, you know what? I want to say I hope we change that, but I think it's like that on quite a few teams. It's never about who's the better player in Dallas. Whoever's paid the most, that's who gets to start. So now you got to think about this. You bring in DJ Reader, he's going to be making more than Mozzie. But I also think you bring in DJ Reader, he's probably going to be a little, I think right now he would be better than Mozzie. Don't mean he's going to be better than Mozzie in the future, but I do think it would mean I think he would probably be a little bit better than Mozzie. All right, and I got pulled up, I'm going to show this when we get to the post-June 1st cuts. I'm going to show us this thing about the post-June 1st period. Because, man, I am telling y'all, it is so little movement out there. It's just no movement out there. And I think teams are hoping kind of what Daniel M is saying. I know exactly what Daniel M is saying, and C-Base is saying too, because if you wait, somebody else could come make a trade. But the Cowboys seem to be willing to take that chance. because also it seems everyone else is taking that chance because nobody is yet moving on these quote unquote, no one's made the post June 1st cuts that everyone thought. We're going to look at the list here in a moment.
Practice, your energy with players, from what we see and from what we've heard from players, it kind of jumps out to us. How important is that to you as a head coach to kind of bring that to your guys? Why do you feel that's important? And what was the genesis of all of that? Has that just been rooted in you from day one, or did you have to practice that as a coach versus maybe as a player?
All right, he's talking about energy.
It's funny that you asked me that question, and I'll answer. And the reason I smile is the way we practice and the way that I act at practice.
Yeah.
My father is looking down from heaven going, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you practice. But my father also coached a long time ago. And the type of athletes and type of young men that we're dealing with has changed.
Okay, Morris, we're going to see if he's on the block.
The coach's responsibility first and foremost to create a great practice environment. What do I mean by that? If we don't have energy and we're not into it and we're not running around and we're not talking, then the players aren't going to be able to do that because they're going to follow our lead. And when we show them that we're going to let our personality shine and we're going to be who we are and be joyful out of practice, then they're going to do that. And I think what I would say reminded me of that and what I really fell for that was my years in Seattle. I think I've talked to you guys a little bit about Pete. I mean, I remember Pete being, sorry, Pete, if I'm wrong, 72 or 1 at the time, and him running around the practice field with more energy than me, who was 40-something at the time. I'm like, damn, I got to get in shape. But I believe it. Like, I watched some incredible athletes that late in the season went out to practice, and maybe they didn't really feel like practicing, but when the coaches bring the juice and the energy and the vibe, then they're going to follow suit. And that's really impacted me.
Coaching matters.
Skylar, last one. Skylar Dixon with the AP. Back on Micah, you said when the offseason was getting cranky, you wanted him to be present from a leadership point of view. You just talked about the communication with him being good. I wondered how he was sort of meeting that hope and expectation of you of being around enough to where his sort of leadership presence is felt.
Yeah, I mean, again, being present doesn't necessarily mean being here all the time, doesn't mean necessarily having to practice. It means being present, being around the guys. I mean, we all don't see the things that some of these guys do away from here. There's a lot of work being done away from here, whether it's with other players in the NFL, our guys, things like that. And again, the thing that I know about Micah is Micah wants to be here. He's excited about what we're building. He's been a big proponent of that. And you can lead a lot of different ways. And this is a business. And they're working through the business part of this deal. But again, everything I've asked him to do, everything that I've required, no different than everybody that's here, he's been great with. And so that gets me excited. And I'm a big fan of Micah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you at practice.
Hi, I'm Joe Delaney. Today we're going to talk about what...
Yeah. Now understand again what Brian Schottenheimer's doing. Now, we got to be honest with ourselves. Brian, I appreciate you. But being present is being present. Being present is actually being in person. Micah Parsons has been present for some things. But Jerry needs to get the deal. And Michael's camp, they need to work on getting a deal done. Michael needs to be in the mandatories. Now, it sounds like he's saying he's going to be in the mandatories regardless, but it's probably going to be an in, I don't know what you call it, in-camp holdout, similar to what Jamar Chase did. But I understand he's walking a fine line. He understands the business at hand, and he just doesn't want to get in the middle of that, and he definitely doesn't want to do anything to antagonize Micah, because I think that's one of the things that Jerry would do in the past that I think it was kind of annoying to some of the players. Daniel said, gee, that's why there's reports of Ramsey considering moving from cornerback to safety for his career. Yeah, I think if he comes to the Cowboys, I think if Ramsey comes to the Cowboys, Ramsey is playing safety. I think he may very well be one of the safeties for the Cowboys. Let's go to some quick OTA news, and then we'll spend the remainder of the time looking at some of the post-June 1st stuff or the lack thereof, but we'll look at some of the storylines that are going over there. So we're going to look over here at the storylines. Let's see if we can find it here. Nick Harris over on X. Nick Harris gave a good report of what would now be yesterday's OTAs. And let's just kind of run down the line of kind of what he talked about. All right, so what he talked about was Cowboys Week 3 OTA observations. And I'm still perturbed by the thing that he's talking about. And I'll let you in on that in a moment. Something interesting happened today or yesterday. CeeDee Lamb was off to the sideline. There's been no real explanation. Everyone's saying there's no red flags. There's nothing wrong. They said he was out. We saw the most. He was out. He suited up, no helmet. He was basically a cheerleader out there. Excuse me. It says we saw the most out of George Pickens since his arrival. Dak Prescott targeted him on a sideline end zone throw in the red zone that Pickens fully extended for and caught. So, from what my understanding, Pickens got that work today. George Pickens got that work. So who knows? Maybe this was by design. George Pickens was out today. George Pickens was out. CeeDee Lamb was out today. George Pickens got a lot of work today. Lisa Worley, where you at? Wide receiver Jalen Tolbert also had an impressive TD grab in red zone work. Prescott fired one to the back of the end zone that Tolbert went up over the top of a defender to haul in. I'm telling y'all, Tolbert's going to be better. I don't know how much better, but Tolbert is going to be better. Now, this is the stuff right here. I respect Nick Harris and all these guys. I just wish they would stop this. Watch this. Overall, up and down day for Dak Prescott. He went 8 for 14 and had his best efficiency in red zone work. The Joe Milton experience. What are we talking about? The Dallas media, they're calling this the Joe Milton experience? You're calling the backup quarterback work the Joe Milton experience? This crazy work to me. Some of you don't have to agree with me. This is crazy work to me. You put above the Joe Milton experience. You first put Dak Prescott had an up and down day. He went 8 for 14 and had his best efficiency in red zone work. And then under him, the Joe Milton experience was once again on full display. A 44-yard bomb to Jalen Brooks down the right sideline on a free play was beautifully placed. He did also throw a pick six to linebacker Damone Clark. So just listen how he writes this. You got to understand how he's writing this. How he's writing this. As a person who writes, understand how you say things matter. Overall, up and down day for Dak Prescott. Up and down. He went 8 for 14. His best efficiency in the red zone work. But when I get to the backup quarterback, The Joe Milton experience was once again on full display. A 44-yard bomb to Jalen Brooks down the right sideline on a free play was beautifully placed. Do you see how he's writing this? Because he calls it the Joe Milton experience. So now he's going to try to convey to you the Joe Milton experience. He did also throw a pick. Now watch how he says this. He did also throw a pick six to linebacker Damone Clark. He writes that nonchalantly. He doesn't put the word where someone may say he hit Jalen Brooks down the right sideline on a free play that was beautifully placed. But he also threw a pick six to Damone Clark. No, that's not how he writes it. He doesn't want anything to detract from what he's saying about the Joe Milton experience. He doesn't want to say, but he threw. No, he also threw a pick six to Damone Clark. And then he gets back to, he went 7 for 9. Why does the Dallas media keep talking about Joe Milton III? It makes no sense. They've already rated him. We showed it the other day. He is rated as the 17th best backup quarterback. But yet and still in Dallas. Every chance. I was so glad today that the local media didn't ask Brian Schottenheimer, hey, how Joe Milton doing today? Bro, he's the backup. No other team is talking like this about the backup quarterback. Why are they are the ones. They are the ones who are keeping this stuff out there. Nobody cares about the backup quarterback. We just care that he's good enough. We care that he's good. We care that he's good enough. But we don't need a day-by-day update on the backup quarterback. We don't. And it is now, I'm a little bit, I want to see what this translates to in training camp. Because I noticed something again. They're giving very little work to Will Grier. They did this same stuff with Trey Lance. They did this same stuff for Trey Lance. The Cowboys seem to be fast-tracking Joe Milton III to the backup quarterback position without really even giving Will Grier, or at least up until this point in time, it don't even seem like they're going to give Will Grier an opportunity. So he basically only got two snaps? Where's Donovan Smith? How does Donovan Smith get the opportunity to make this team? We'll see what happens in training camp. But again, this is kind of a, I don't understand the Joe Milton nonsense. It is pure nonsense to me. You're not even calling him Joe Milton. The Joe Milton experience, pure nonsense to me. Pure nonsense. We have the 17th rated backup quarterback. And the team with the number 1 rated quarterback, they're not even talking about him. I'm telling y'all, prepare yourselves. Get yourselves prepared. If you think they're talking about Joe Milton now, they're going to wear us out with Joe Milton coverage while rarely talking about Dak Prescott unless it's mistakes. They're going to wear us out with the Joe Milton nonsense because the Dallas media itself is going to try and build up some quarterback, quote-unquote, competition, or this, quote-unquote, quarterback, whatever you want to call it, that's actually not there. I'm telling you, this is crazy to me. But moving on to Jaden Blue. Rookie running back Jaden Blue got a good amount of burn with the second team. Then he talks about Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker both injured. The first team safeties during the team period were Wanye Thomas and undrafted free agent signing Elijah Clark. Interesting. Would have thought it would have been Marquise Bell. I wonder where Marquise Bell was during this time. Cornerback Israel Mukump. Izzy. Cornerback Izzy. Got more burn at outside corner than we've seen. Because a lot of people are saying they think he may work his way into the slot. He says, I continue to like what I see from running back Miles Sanders. He looks super fresh. I want to see what he looks like in the as the training camp goes on. Linebacker Shamar James and cornerback Andrew Booth were with the rehab group today. Wonder why Shamar James is with the rehab group. And then says 2 guys that look good with the 3s. Wide receiver Trayshawn Holden and defensive end Luigi Villain. So that's kind of our OTA report. Again, I haven't heard anything about Shamar James. I would definitely like to know what's going on with that. Trayshawn Holden working out with them 3s. Boy, I'm telling you, this dude going to have an uphill battle to make this team. We're going to see how he comes out. But again, not a lot. I guess not a lot to really talk about. Not a lot to talk about. But again, boy, people love Trayshawn Holden. Somebody said Holden's a guy to keep an eye on at TC. He might take someone's job. I'm not going that far. I mean, this dude got a long way to go up that doggone depth chart. But a lot of people, boy, they love talking about Trayshawn Holden. Look at this. Look at this. This is what I was wondering too, David. David Leach wrote, what's up with Marquise Bell? Is he injured or not present? I'm wondering too. Philip said, what does burn mean? Are you saying he got burned? Nah, I think it means he got on the field. Brandon, Dak is going to get hurt and we're going to see Milton. Book it. Okay. I keep seeing Elijah Clark's name being thrown in with the 1s and the 2s. I keep telling you guys Miles Sanders, if healthy, is the best running back on the roster. We'll see. Burns said, let me guess, the end zone throw to Pickens was high. Somebody said Dak gets loose, bro. Reddy said, why is Booth still on this roster? I'm pretty sure other people are wondering that too. Yeah, okay, so somebody's asking, so Shamar James got injured. I'm wondering the same thing. I'm with this person. Where's Marquise Bell? Where's Marquise Bell? Again, how are the safeties looking? So we'll see. A lot of questions to answer for the Dallas Cowboys, but that is, as far as what I saw, that is the OTA news. Now let's go to this post June 1st stuff. Let's check this out. I got something on this. Let's see. So there is so little. I'm just telling you, there is so little on this that nobody is really reporting on it. There seems to be no movement in this area. And because there is no movement in this area, this is one of the reasons why I think everybody just kind of playing, they're just kind of standing pat and waiting to see who's going to do what. And it's amazing. Let's kind of look at the article. Pull this up over here on CBS. They probably got what I would call one of the most informative articles on it. It says NFL's post-June 1st period, top 2025 cut. Trade candidates include Falcons, Kirk Cousins, and Dolphins, Tyreek Hill. And they kind of got a list over here of some of the players that could be post-June 1st cuts. And kind of up here, some big names, Kirk Cousins, TJ Watt with the Steelers. Those two are skipping voluntary workouts in an effort to facilitate action from their respective teams. Soon there may be added reason for said action to occur. Kirk Cousins, boy, I don't know who this man agent is, but boy, he done the Atlanta Falcons in, man. That's all I can tell you. He did the Atlanta Falcons in. And if I'm the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, I'm sorry, me and them GMs, me and those GMs, we got to have a talk, man. You convinced me to give Kirk Cousins this huge guaranteed contract coming off an Achilles, but then you also telling me we need to go and draft Michael Penix Jr.? And not only do we draft Michael Penix Jr., now you're telling me that the coaches are saying that Michael Penix Jr. should be the starter over Kirk Cousins. So what am I going to do with Kirk Cousins' contract? What in the world are the Atlanta Falcons going to do with Kirk Cousins' contract? The Atlanta Falcons have $5.3 million remaining in salary cap space. What in the world do you do with that? What do you do with that? Lisa said just because the fans want some more players, that don't mean the Dallas is going to go out and get any more players. We're getting to see what we got right now. There it is, Lisa. And that's why I keep saying, when it came to George Pickens, we heard the conversations out there, but not only that, we heard a confession from the mouth of Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. We don't have a number 2 receiver. I just haven't heard the Cowboys talking about a one tech. All I keep hearing is Mozzie is looking good. That's all I keep hearing. I don't hear anything else. All right, so it says here, while the major waves of free agency are in the rear view, along with the 2025 draft, another round of personnel moves is likely to take place in the form of the post-June 1 period. All 32 teams are permitted to carry up to 90 players on their offseason rosters, but lineups are set to undergo some additional shuffling, including by some notable veterans such as Cousins. What exactly is the post-June 1st period? Which players are likely to become more expendable and why? How much money might teams save by cutting or releasing select veterans? Here's everything you need to know. Okay, this is a very informative article. It says the post-June 1st period is exactly what it sounds like, the point of the NFL offseason when the calendar advances past June 1st. Now, here's its significance. Many player contracts are structured in a way that they become more expendable after June 1st of a given offseason. This technically makes it more likely for the player to be retained during the early stages of the offseason when most roster movement occurs, but provides teams with flexibility to increase financial savings if they move on from the player down the road, i.e., after June 1st. This means that select veterans, typically those accounting for large portions of a team's annual salary cap, are more likely to be traded or released after June 1st. This is why we're talking about DJ Reader. DJ Reader, if I'm not mistaken, is either 30 or 31, and they've got quite a few players on that. They did some things, I think, in the draft, and it's probably, for them, they're looking at it as it is time to let him go, even though I didn't think his contract was tremendous. Top cut and trade candidates. Here are a handful of big names with a reasonable chance to become post-June 1st departures via trade or release. Kirk Cousins. I don't understand how this man worked this deal out coming off an Achilles at 35 years of age. How did this man pull this off, y'all? He got the Atlanta Falcons in a chokehold. 2025, $40 million cap hit. This man got him in a chokehold. Cousins was a no-show for the start of the Atlanta Falcons voluntary OTAs. The way y'all did this, man, he ain't never stepping out there. And if he come back for mandatory, book it. He'll be there, but I bet you he won't do anything. It's just the latest indication the quarterback prefers a fresh start after his late year benching in 2024, the same year he signed a $180 million contract to lead the franchise. The Falcons have so far been unwilling to eat much of Cousins' inflated contract to facilitate a trade. A few teams still having glaring quarterback needs, but Atlanta will have more reasons to grant Cousins his freedom. They can save $27.5 million by trading Cousins after June 1st, whereas a pre-June 1st would have only netted $2.5 million in savings. Outright cutting the veteran would also result in a net loss of $10 million after June 1st, whereas a pre-June 1st release would have cost them $35 million. He still got him. Trust me, he still got him. They got major money is tied up into this man. It says potential landing spots, Saints and Steelers. I can see it. Prediction, released by the Falcons, then signs with the Saints. I think he may sign with the Steelers. Then we got Will Levis. Will Levis. I really think this is one that I really think this is something that a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers should even consider. But it looks like he's only a $2.6 million cap hit, and he's more than likely going to be a cut. You got Antonio Gibson, running back New England Patriots. Prediction, traded to the Broncos. Tyreek Hill. Post June 1st, potential. Prediction, retained by the Dolphins. I see it too. This is the one we've been talking about, Jair Alexander. All offseason, the Green Bay Packers have anticipated a breakup with Alexander, who's been one of the NFL's best and most injured cover men. Didn't realize that. Both sides hinted at a split in free agency via trade or release. It says now the Packers apparently have a new contract off on the table, but if the Pro Bowler doesn't bite at a pay cut, Green Bay could save $17.5 million by cutting or trading the quarterback after June 1st. I don't see the Cowboys getting him. Here it is, Daniel M's man, Jalen Ramsey. It says, despite just signing a $72 million extension last September, he might soon get his wish of a clean slate as Miami can save close to $10 million by trading the cornerback after June 1st, as opposed to losing $8.5 million by dealing the former Los Angeles Rams star prior to June 1st. All signs point to Ramsey playing elsewhere in 2025. So, potential landing spots, they don't even have the Cowboys in there. A lot of people are saying it's going to be the Rams. They're predicting he goes to the Raiders. The Rams seem to be cornerback strapped. And see, I don't see anybody else on here, but I do think that they're not mentioning it. But I think that DJ Reader is going to be one of these potential cuts. But the thing is, I actually thought that we were going to start seeing like moves, like already. I thought we would have saw 5, 6, 7, 8 moves. Nothing. Absolutely nothing for anybody. I haven't seen anything where anybody is doing anything as far as this goes. So that tells me, and this is what I had mentioned, I kind of talked about some of this earlier. That tells me the Cowboys are not the only ones playing the game. They're not the only ones playing the game. It seems like everybody is playing the game. Everybody's trying to see, like, who gonna do what first. Everybody's waiting. So wherever we think the Cowboys could lose out, there are other teams that could lose out too. It just all depends on how this all gets done. But I do think a lot of teams are kind of thinking the same thing. They're going to kind of let their players come into training camp, kind of see what they got, kind of see what the effort is, see what's going on, and then they'll make the decision on whether or not they're going to cut them. Yeah. Daniel Liv, Shotty's always saying the right thing. He said Shotty once again is saying all the right things, but we got to see it. Yeah, that's what we got to wait on. Now we got to get it on the field. Brandy Mahoney, what's going on? Yeah, Morris Newton, Eberflus brought Sanborn in, and I'm telling you, that Chicago media loved them some Sanborn. They did. Christopher Church said Murray can start, but Leofau should get more playing time while also starting. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised they were saying Leofau was going to start, but I think Murray is going to be a starter, and I think Sanborn is going to be a part of the rotation somewhere. I think he's going to be a part of the rotation. I really, really do. I think he'll be a part of the rotation. George Boney says Salmon Thomas was a bust for my 49ers. He was a waste of a number 3 pick. Hey, George, at least y'all fleeced the Cowboys and got your good running back for Trey Lance. Brandon Mahoney said, Oak Cliff, GB on point. That's why I'm up. I hop on and listen to him. Hey, I appreciate you. C-Base says, come training camp, if Mozzie looks the same, Jones is best pick up them phones. I think they will. They're going to give him a shot. I think they're going to really give him a shot. I do. They're going to give him a shot. And then I think they'll move quickly. Sean said, don't mess with Mozzie. Under better staff, we need to think on tight ends like Pitts. Think on Kelsey. Here, do it. Hey, Sean, a lot of people been saying they don't want this dude, Kyle Pitts. But I tell you this, Kyle Pitts is a playmaker. Now, I don't know if you're going to have him in the run game, but he's a playmaker. Yeah, he'll be a playmaker for the Cowboys. And so if he were to come to the Cowboys. But, again, I don't know where the Cowboys kind of are on some of this stuff. I think the Cowboys right now, I think they're going to focus internally. I think they're going to focus and see what they have. And they're going to give Mozzie his chance. Because I know y'all not going to like what I'm about to say. But Mozzie, I don't know what his psyche is like. And maybe the Cowboys are not interested in destroying his psyche right now. Maybe they're not interested in destroying his psyche. Maybe the Cowboys want to say, we have full confidence in you, Mozzie. Let's see what you do. While at the same time still looking on that backside, too. C-Bay said that Shotty's recognizing something. The McCarthy and Garrett era did not, and what Jerry has missed for quite so many years, get with the times. Players are different today. Yeah, I brought that up earlier. Yeah. I'm with you. Daniel says another thing to 2Gs. The Cowboys have the cap room. Oh, they got plenty. They can afford Ramsey because of the $32 million in cap room. Well, once they sign Michael Parsons, they're going to get another $12 million. Now, I didn't realize that Jair Alexander has been one of the most hurt defensive backs. I didn't realize that. I don't want them to do that one. I don't want them to do Jair Alexander. No. Lisa Worley, they're saying Guyton looks great. That's all we're hearing. But we're also hearing that Mozzie looks good. Yeah, mandatory. It's not mandatory yet. No, not yet. Getting close, though. I can't remember when that is, but we're going to get there. I hope the Cowboys go ahead and sign Michael Parsons. But, once we get there, before we get there, even though he'll still be kind of, I think it'll be an in-camp holdout, if anything. Yeah. C-Base says he's 357 pounds now. Yeah, that was one of the things that I do think that Dan Quinn, because he likes his defensive linemen to be a lot smaller and quicker, I do think that may have set Mozzie back a season. I really do, because I'm telling you, man, if you ever watch those boxers and they go down in weight, boy, they can only do that for so long. If somebody takes them, if they go down in weight and someone takes them into the latter rounds, knock them smooth out. Knock them smooth out. Yeah, I think they were exaggerating about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is not 205 pounds. No. I think Dak is somewhere around the 220-ish mark. But Dak is actually looking pretty good. Suge Midnight, yeah, Dak Lance Part 2. I mean, it's like this, like the media can't. It is crazy to me, this stuff with Lance. I mean, with Milton III. I don't even understand it. It's baffling to me. It is baffling to me. Richard Owens said, I believe that Micah has a deal in place, but they're doing the same thing they did with Dak and CD. I hope they get it done sooner this time. I really do hope they get it sooner. Christopher Church says, do y'all not read the Dallas Cowboys app? Well, I do look at DallasCowboys.com. I don't know about the app. Yeah, we already saw where, though, Stephen Jones has already said. Stephen Jones has had a couple of, let's see. Oh, okay, so Ty Church brought up CFL, and somebody else said UFL, where the Cowboys have their eyes on the UFL. Cowboys, once again, have their eyes on the UFL. The heck? Let's see. I don't even understand what all these other pictures are. They got Micah. Let's see. Hold on a second. Yeah, it just says they have their eyes on the UFL. Not sure what that means because the article isn't matching it, but Stephen Jones talks on the Micah deal. I was hoping we could get this actual interview. And again, let's look at this article real quick. Stephen, I think, is just doing some things that we're not used to. Stephen ain't doing what his father did. They're asking him some questions about some things in the Cowboys organization, and Stephen Jones is just kind of like close to the vest. It says Cowboys co-owner and COO Stephen Jones was very blunt with reporters on the topic and didn't provide an update on discussions between Parsons and the team. No different than anything else. I'll let you know when it happens, Jones said. And again, a lot of people are talking about Parsons being at the facility today. I heard it was picture-taking day, and that's why he was there. I heard it was picture-taking day. And so, no, that's part of the business. All teams go through it, and that's part of the business, Jones said. Does that mean Parsons will be in the building next week for mandatory minicamp? Steven says you have to ask Micah. You have to ask Micah. And I do think he's going to be in attendance, kind of listening to Brian Schottenheimer. I just don't think he'll be doing anything. Yeah, I don't think he'll be doing anything. I really don't. They asked about Diggs. Another player the Cowboys are looking forward to getting back in the building is Trayvon Diggs, who is nursing back from season-ending surgery. Diggs hasn't been in the facility for OTAs, but the Cowboys are still in the loop of his recovery process and expect him to be in attendance for mandatory minicamp next week. We're going to see. We are going to see. I think this is probably what I saw. Someone was writing an article. I saw an article. I didn't read it, but I think they were talking about a $500,000 decision that Trayvon Diggs has to make. I'll be very interested in this one. Will Trayvon Diggs show up for the mandatory minicamps? Interesting. But this is another part that they're talking about in the article. It's going to be very interesting. But again, I think where we kind of are in the off season, I think we're kind of at a standstill right now because I think the focus is going to be going forward. I think they're now ready to. I think they're saying, let's get the pads on. Let's get the pads on and see what we need to be doing. I mean, see what we have. See what the players look like once we started really getting the chance to see everything in motion. Everything in motion. And so, I mean, you think about it, man. Brian Schottenheimer, I mean, because they don't let him film OTAs. So Brian Schottenheimer, I mean, Brian Schottenheimer's interviews have been basically the most exciting things. The most exciting things they've been talking about. Christopher Church, it's not that I'm reading too much into it. Don't get me wrong, Christopher Church. I'm just asking the simple question. Who else is talking about their backup quarterback? What other team is writing about their backup quarterback and then calling the backup quarterback fill in the blank experience? Do we not realize he stole that from the Michael Vick experience? When Michael Vick was with the Atlanta Falcons and Michael Vick was like, man, Michael Vick was so incredible. I mean, they made amusement rides and virtual games around Michael Vick, the Michael Vick experience. You're giving Joe Milton III a backup quarterback? You're calling that the Joe Milton experience. Okay. You keep thinking I'm reading into it. I find it to be strange that they always find a way to ask about how Joe Milton. Who care how Joe Milton doing? Don't care. Dominique Pittman. I believe you. I do believe you on that, Dominique. Dudes like that aren't even real Cowboy fans. They're just writers, nothing more, nothing less. I 100% believe it. I've questioned for a long time some of these people who write for the Cowboys, some of these people who cover this team, I don't think they really like this team. I think some people who cover this team are as guilty as the media who covers this team. Shady McCoy talks about this team to get clicks and attention. Well, some of the Cowboy people cover the Cowboys because they know they get attention. I don't believe they really like the team. I believe there are some who just don't really like the team. They just know that it's a team that people is. Christopher Church, the experience is describing in a roller coaster. Okay? I like that. That's just not how he's describing him, though. But I like what you're saying. But I don't think you should be describing him as anything other than he's the backup quarterback. That's all he is. He's the backup quarterback. Nothing more. That's all he is. Backup quarterback. C-Bay said not an injury. Okay, so is somebody saying that the man faked an injury again? Let's see here. But again, yeah, Milton is a good watch, but we need Dak, but media wants a show. Exactly. That's my problem, Sean. That's my problem. They are as guilty as the media who covers the Cowboys sometimes. I don't understand it. Yeah, the backup quarterback is doing okay. Now, let's go Dak. You know, you would think that Dak Prescott would be, not only for the Dallas Cowboy local media, but even for the national media, you would think that Dak Prescott would be the biggest story of the offseason. Because many of these people, including many of these local Dallas Cowboy writers, were all saying that Dak Prescott will not be back for OTAs, will not be back for training camp. A lot of people were saying Dak is done. He won't be back until the beginning of the season probably. Dak is out there, not only out there, Dak is out there playing like he was never injured. And it's probably going to add to the fable of some of these people saying Dak Prescott was never hurt in the first place. Which I think that is the craziest thing I've ever heard, because when you think about it, when you start talking about when you start thinking about somebody who's been hurt like Dak Prescott, I mean this last injury, and the way he's came back so early and he's looking so good, I mean, you really would think they'd be writing about it. No, they were more surprised. And it was like, almost like Dak took a story away from him. What do you think would be more lucrative for writers? You think it would be more lucrative for them to be writing about Dak Prescott being there, or for them writing about Dak Prescott not being there and his career possibly being over? I'll let you ponder that. But I don't like it. I don't like it. It's crazy. No, it's not just the second time. No, he's talked about it too. But I get what you're saying on the roller coaster experience. I'm going to listen to some more of it because I like the insight that you're giving right there, Christopher Church. I appreciate that. I'll look for it again. But again, it doesn't change my original premise on this. Why are we talking about this guy? It is obvious he needs development. He's the same Joe Milton that he was coming out of college. The same Joe Milton that was drafted in the 6th round by the New England Patriots. He puts together some very splashy plays, but he's not consistent. He's not consistent. And when they start talking about the experience, because I heard Nick Harris talk about this, they love to talk about him in a very glowing manner. Because a part of that experience, they're not only talking about him as a roller coaster, but when they talk about his highs, they're trying to say how high his highs are. How high his highs are. And for me, I think it's a bad choice of a word, but whoever gets to choose whatever word they want to. If you're inconsistent, I'm not calling you the experience. No, hey, you've been inconsistent. Kind of like how you said about Dak, huh? Did you notice what he said about Dak? Yeah, been a pretty much up and down day. But then when you get to the Joe Milton experience is on full display. Well, if you let him tell it, he only had one bad throw. I mean, I don't know if he had one bad throw, but he had one interception. Now, he didn't explain that like it was down, up and down. No. Yeah, James Gary says selling Joe Milton will now work. Because that's to me what they're doing. That is to me what they're doing in a sense, James. I think they're trying to sell Joe Milton in a sense to kind of get that, even if they're not building up tension with the team. They're building up that tension by some in the fan base because some in the fan base are betting that he's going to take Dak Prescott's spot. Now, I can appreciate what you're saying. I just don't think that's the way he's putting it all the way. Because I notice how he talks about Joe Milton. And he ain't just talking about, yeah, he's inconsistent. Because if he was writing it like that, I'm getting it. And you know, Dak Prescott had something interesting to say about this last year. I think Dak was trying to tell the local Dallas Cowboy writers. I think Dak Prescott was trying to tell the local writers for the Cowboys that the players read what you write. Yeah. I don't know if y'all remember that conversation last year Dak was having on the podium. Dak said, maybe y'all will be nice to these guys this week because they read a lot of the things that you write. And I remember doing a video on it, and I was like, did Dak just ask the media to take it easy on the young players? Yeah. This new generation is different. Again, we talked about Trayvon Diggs goes after a media guy 4 minutes after a football game is over. Why does he do it? Because of something this guy said on social media after a game, and it was barely over. Dak Prescott understands. If there's one thing that Dak Prescott understands, he understands what these people do in the media. And I believe that's one of the reasons why Dak don't talk to a lot of them. Dak does his quote-unquote mandatory press conference stuff, but Dak don't give a lot of these people these one-on-one interviews. Just doesn't. I'm telling you, man, these doggone writers, they be writing some things sometimes. I mean, they're writing things trying to get, for whatever reason, they're trying to get clicks. We can say in some of this stuff, they're telling the truth. But I think in some of this stuff, they're writing things that they know that's going to really get people going. And I forgot the name of the writer, the local Dallas Cowboy writer they did that to. God, let's see. It doesn't show the guy's name. Let's see if we can go back. But, boy, I am telling you, Trayvon Diggs went off. And I'm just saying all that to say that Dak Prescott is very cognitive of the effect of the local media. Not everybody can just say the media writes something and they just be like, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. No. You got young, impressionable players. Young, impressionable players. And if you don't think these guys be reading some of these press clippings sometimes and smelling themselves, because I do think that's another one of the problems that some of these Cowboys have from time to time, they're reading what other people are writing about them. And they're taking what these people are writing about them and taking it as gospel. When they're writing all good about them, they like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm the man. And then when they're writing things bad about them, then they come out and I don't like what you're saying. And sometimes it affects them mentally in ways how they're doing things. I'm just telling us, you don't have to accept what I'm telling you, but what people write about some of these Dallas Cowboys, they take it to heart. They really do. They take it to heart. I was trying to find an article on when on the guy, but I'm sure it was one of the well-known beat writers that was doing it. Okay, Leslie. Yeah, it was Leslie. I don't remember his first name, but it was Leslie who did it. Maybe some of you'll remember it. But I just think it's nonsense when these guys are doing this. James Gary, yeah, he's a backup. And that's the only thing they need. Hey, he's a backup. I don't even understand why they keep talking about him. He's a backup. Leave the kid alone. Let him develop. Just let him develop. That's all they need to do. Marcus Rose said it's not about how good or bad Joe Milton is. It's about how many miles you can get out of a running down Prescott. Nobody's more beloved on a team than the backup quarterback. Boy, you better say it. Boy, you better say it, Marcus Rose. Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Man, he playing against lesser competition sometimes out there, making throws and stuff, and people going crazy. But I do think Dak Prescott is poised for a great season. I really do. I think Dak Prescott is poised for an absolute monster season, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. People everywhere floating the idea that Dak faked that injury. Bro, Marcus, I don't understand that one, bro. I don't understand that. Now, I haven't heard that in the media, but I've heard somebody say it. I heard somebody say it. And when I heard it, I was like, come on, man. Boy, Marcus Rowe, boy, you just said something crazy. Marcus Rowe, this make way too much sense. Marcus Rowe, this is a crazy. Marcus Rowe said, people everywhere were floating the idea that Dak faked that injury. He could have played with it. All that nonsense. It's SOP to dump on, it's standard operating procedure to dump on Prescott. He can't even get hurt right for some folk. Marcus Rowe, boy, that's a killer statement right there, boy. Dak Prescott can't even get hurt right. He can't. Dak Prescott get hurt and they say it ain't right. The man, Marcus Rowe, the man even suck at being hurt. The man sucks at even being hurt, man. He can't even do that right. Poor people crazy, boy. People absolutely crazy. Yeah, Daniel M. Jair Alexander, still a Packer. Still a Packer. Still a Packer. C-Base said Cousins has fleeced how many teams? I'm thinking he's, what? He got Minnesota. Minnesota said they wasn't getting him. He wasn't going to get him again. Got the Washington Commanders. And then he bought the one for the Atlanta Falcons. Take the cake, though, boy. You can't beat this one for the Atlanta Falcons. This one for the Atlanta Falcons, boy. Man, this dude must have had some blackmail pictures or something, because I don't even see how he got that one. Sean said, TJ, come on, our pits, then we roll huge. Man, TJ Watt, I mean, he's probably not a possibility for the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys are going to sign him. But I am wondering if the Cowboys will look at the Kyle Pitts, even though a lot of people are saying we don't need Pitts. Dang Liam said, I saw a package of Cousins and Pitts to the Steelers for a 2nd and a 6th to the Falcons. Whoa, man. Boy. That ain't bad looking right there. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I mean, he gonna get you either way, so that's a crazy one right there. Richard Owens said, ask yourself the same question about why is Michael not paid yet, or does he have a deal in place, and Jerry is saving it for the Hard Knock show? Richard, I'm just telling you, I'm just coming to this conclusion. And I said this before. I'm just coming to the reality. There are certain players that Jerry wants to be the highest players in the league. He wants them to be the highest paid players in the league. Jerry wanted Dak Prescott. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. There's no way you wait that long to make that deal. The Cowboys could have signed Dak Prescott at any point in time. Micah Parsons, they could have signed him last year when there was nobody making the kind of money they're making now. And they just keep waiting. And now they're going to wait on TJ Watt. They're going to wait on TJ Watt. TJ Watt going to wind up getting some kind of crazy extension. And they're going to have to wind up paying out their nose even more for Micah Parsons. The Cowboys are at a point, they're just going to flat out overpay. There's no other way. There's no other way. C-Base, he said he want Rita, Ramsey, Jair, Gilly, and golly, man, and Amari Cooper. He said, I'm greedy. Man. But our man Tolbert, man, he making steps, they saying. Big Sarge, he said the NFC East don't apply. They don't appear on Hard Knocks until mid-season. That's what I think it's something new they're doing, and that would mean Michael misses too much time. Nah, I think they're gonna try to get Michael signed. At least that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping against hope, because I don't really know with Jerry and them, but the way they've been doing things, maybe they'll be smarter and go ahead and get this man signed. CB said Ferg and Pitts' stats last year were identical, but you wanted Pitts, but Atlanta stole him and Bijan from us Cowboys. Boy, I remember everybody was talking about Bijan was going to the Cowboys, wound up not getting him. Brandon Mahoney, you ain't playing. Kirk Cousins played chess and they played checkers. Brandon Mahoney, I used to watch a show back in the day called Star Trek, and I remember Dr. Spock, boy, they was playing some kind of checkers I ain't never seen before. They had a 3-level board on that joint. They were making moves on 3 boards, 3 levels. That's what Kirk Cousins' agent does. They playing on a regular chessboard. He playing on a 3D, 3-level chessboard. That man getting paid. Big Sarge, I think Tolbert's going to be wide receiver 3 also. I do. I think he's going to be wide receiver 3 also. As much as some people don't like him, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be wide receiver 3. And I think he'll be better at wide receiver 3, because I think it's going to be less pressure on him. Daniel said, G, I'm telling you, Shotty is a dang spokesperson. Man, y'all just let it grace him. I think it'd be cool. He says, I want to see what Dak would look like in Shotty's hair, G. Man, I think it's time for Dak to get the razor, bro, and start wearing that bald head like Micah Parsons. I mean, people be talking about Micah Parsons' hairline. Dak's ain't too intact either. And I think what happens to some of those guys, man, are those helmets. C-Base. I think Kyle Pitts. I think he'll be. I think they're gonna try to move him. I do. All right, guys. 3 hours of Dallas Cowboys tonight. Hope y'all ain't got to go to work in the morning. Some of y'all, it's earlier anyway. It's not even 3 o'clock for y'all, but it's 3 o'clock here where we are. Marcus said y'all here with that Kyle Pitts talk. Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening. But I tell you this, if there's a deal, if there's something the Cowboys, if they could get him for a price, they probably would. Marcus said he don't want to see him. Yeah, I've heard other people say it too. They don't want to see him. Dang, said I got 2 trades. Traded 6th and Brock Hoffman to the Lions. Ooh, man. Boy, Brock Hoffman is a dog, though. Traded 5th and a pick swap to the Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey. I think they're going to probably wind up eating the money if they want him to go somewhere. But, boy, he trying to get out of there. I tell you that much. He trying to get out of there. Yeah, we want Ferg and Shoemaker. Yeah. I think what everybody's saying, they want Ferg to make a step. And I think Ferg is going to make a step. Marcus Rose said if we're going to run the ball more, then we got to be in 12 personnel. Yeah, and we are going to run the ball more. I think the Cowboys off the rip will be running the ball about 45% of the time. I see it fluctuating somewhere between 45 and 40. Because now that you got George Pickens, you're going to be throwing that ball now. You're going to be throwing that ball. But you also want to have that very strong run game. Luis Ortiz, what's going on with you? He said, we still on Joe? Nah, we done. They mentioned Greer. Yeah, he was 2 for 2. They said Joe was 7-8 with 1 interception. Greer was Boy, you just said a mouthful there. He said Will Greer was perfect. You know, and also too, Louise, the Cowboys may just be, let's just say this. Maybe they're just trying to give Joe more snaps to get up to speed. And then when training camp come, they're going to probably, I'm going to assume they're going to go ahead and let him and Will Greer really get after it. Because I'm pretty sure Will Greer understands the system a lot better than he does. So I think they're going to let him get after it. Michael Tyree, he said the only time we need to hear Milton is if Dak and Will get hurt. I agree. He's probably going to be third string, same as the guy that was holding the clipboard the last couple of years. Yeah, I'm telling you. Big Sarge, yeah, Minnesota, Kirk Cousins got him. Fully guaranteed contract with no trade clause. Boy, he got him. What's going on, Lord Nova? Yeah, we about to get out of here. All right, guys. Boy, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're gonna rock tomorrow hard a little bit more. We got Vacation Bible School all the way through Thursday, so I'm gonna do another short stream tomorrow, and we'll probably wind up doing Cowboys After Dark again tomorrow night because I just won't have time to do a long show in the I guess you call it in the evening. So yeah, we'll be doing Cowboys After Dark again tomorrow. Appreciate you, Dominique Pittman. He said another great late night show, G. Yes, sir. Get some rest. Man, I don't do much of that, but we're going to try to get on it. Sean Ginsberg, appreciate you. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all rocking with me once again on Cowboys After Hours. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Until the next time, like, share, subscribe. Mr. Shotty said, appreciate the late shows. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all rocking. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. DC4L. Peace.